Hello and welcome to stage 3 of the Colorado Classic presented by the VF Corporation. 102.5 kilometers today, 14 laps of a very deceptive circuit. Hannah Walker is with me for the final 2 days. What a race it has been so far. Hannah, you're jumping into this one on day 3, but let's talk a little bit about Chloe Daiger. 2 days, 2-stage victory. She's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, she's just dominated the race. Both wins she's taken solo, and she leads the general classification now by like 1 minute 22. She's just an exceptional athlete, and great to see her come back from so many setbacks and injuries and come into such great form going into the World Championships in just over a month's time. So wouldn't put it past her for another victory today, but maybe the rest of the peloton can kind of outsmart her today.
Now we know her as well as on the world stage, as a great track rider, but she's also been world champion, on the road. She's had a great year as well, winning stage races domestically in the USA. But we've seen it, haven't we, over the last 2 years with Tour de France winners, with Bradley Wiggins, with Geraint Thomas, that crossover from a track rider to the road and climbing the way she is. She just ground out that climb yesterday when she saw, right, it's time to go towards the top. But sometimes we kind of look at track riders and don't expect them to be able to do what she's doing.
She's just so strong, and she's a great time trialist. I think that that's her aim within the next month. So she has got that kind of brute force and that grunt that you need, and especially that she can take from from the time trial training, and also from over-geared efforts that she'll do on the track and on the road for team pursuit. So it kind of it does go hand in hand. She's just exceptional. But I think it's nice to see her come back into good form.
Now, I think one thing that really stood out for everyone yesterday and all the way down the descent, I was just hoping that our camera operator was just going to tip that camera down, and they did. And when they did, it was just around the 60-mile-an-hour mark. And that really is what won her the stage. She was on that climb with Omar Shapiro yesterday. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it. Brody Chapman, phenomenal climb yesterday. Yeah. Team Tibco Silicon Valley, they led her into the bottom of the climb. She went for it from the bottom. Omar Shapiro again grounded out. And as we said, Daiger, when she knew she was close enough to the top, she made that move. But over the top, Brody Chapman was still within striking distance, and Chloe Daiger on that descent, going down. We talk about Julian Alaphilippe and people like that on descents, but move over. Chloe Daiger has arrived, I think. But you've got to be a good descenter, haven't you?
I was going to say, it's not that she's just a strong rider and she can, sort of ride strongly in a straight line on the track or in a time trial. She's got her skills, and her ability is just absolutely phenomenal, and sort of see the way she moves through a peloton, or like you say, descending skills. If you haven't got it, you won't be able to do it. And I think, like you say, it's kind of what won of the stage. I think if you're able to handle your bike like that and touching 100k an hour, incredible. I think it's very exciting to watch, that's for sure.
If you've never hit 100k's an hour on your bike, it's pretty scary.
It's quite scary.
Yeah,
it's quite scary.
It's definitely. And now she goes 1 minute and 22 seconds now over Brody Chapman. And looking today at the golden stage, you look at it and we're quite guilty in Europe. We look at this and we look at this big circuit and we think that's going to be a day for the sprinters. But we've got the climb up Washington Street. Our American commentator Meredith Miller, who, if you've been with us GCN over the last winter, you remember Meredith's commentary with us on the cyclocross. But again, on these sort of stages as well, you were a very good criterium rider as well. Short, punchy climbs. It's a long stage as well, 102.5 kilometers on that sort of circuit. It's just accumulative fatigue, isn't it?
Yeah,
sometimes?
Definitely, and it just becomes a little bit relentless. You think, you can have great legs at the start and sort of use up your legs too early, because you're feeling confident and your legs feel good and you're feeling good, and sort of with that repetitive, the repetitive efforts that you put out, it doesn't do you any favours in the back end of the race, because the only good thing is, with it being on a circuit, is they will see the course and what to expect, and places to hide and places that they can make a move or attack and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be one where you've got to bide your time as well. But but it could be somewhere, you know, on a circuit like this that people could get away.
And also, if you're in trouble, first, you know, if
Yeah,
going, cause
you can't hide.
No, day 3 of a stage race is usually when the legs are hurting, isn't it? And if you're on a bad day today, you can really start that one, and
and it will show. I mean, the climbs are short and sharp, and it will show. If you've just not got it, I mean, you know, riders might even have done like a little spin this morning before today's stage just to get anything out of yesterday and the previous day. I know that's what, you know, I would have done. You know, even if you did 20 minutes, half an hour.
Let's have a look at the stage map for what the riders have ahead of them here on the golden stage of the Colorado Classic. As we said, it's a circuit. We've got 7 laps of 14.6 kilometers. And again, we've seen the wide roads that we have on so far in this race. We have 3 intermediate sprints for 3, 2 and 1 bonus seconds. And as we said, we've got that climb each lap. We've just got 1 Queen of the Mountains point that comes today after 88.2 kilometers. But that is the route. We are going to go straight to pictures. Don't forget, on the chat forums over on YouTube and Facebook, if you want to get involved over on there, you can say hi. If you've got any questions, please feel free to post them on the forums. So you can see the rollout here. 89 riders, 102.5 kilometers is the stage. Whitney Allison, you can see there for Hagen's Berman Superman. What a race she is having so far on the front here in the black, the mint blue and the dark blue colors. And you're looking out for the yellow jersey. There she is. Chloe Dygert leads Brody Chapman by 1 minute and 22 seconds. Omar Shapira third at 1:33. Ella Harris is fourth at 2:09. Krista Dobell Hickok is fifth at 2:10. Lauren Stevens is sixth at 2:36. Level on time with Flavia Oliveira for Fearless Femme. Katie Hall, the US national team, didn't quite have the day that everyone was expecting from her yesterday. 2 minutes and 37 seconds down. Edward Patel, a 52-year-old French rider from Kogas, she is 9th at 2:56, and Whitney Allison is 10th at 3:19. In your other classifications, so Chloe Dygert leading in the sprints classification. She has 30 points, 8 points ahead of Brody Chapman, with Whitney Allison third and with 12 points in that one. She also leads in the Queen of the Mountains classification. She had a bit of a battle with Brody Chapman at the top of that one. Omar Shapira is second to her, 17 for Dygert, 11 for Shapira, third Chapman with 10. Chloe Dygert also leads in the Best Young Riders jersey, and she has a 1:33 advantage over Shapira in that one, with Harris at 2:09. For Canyon SRAM, they are leading in the team classification, and they are 6 minutes ahead, and Kogas are third. There is the profile for the stage. So you can see total elevation, 1,414 meters of climbing on today's stage. It was, everyone said, it's not a day for the sprinters at all. So we'll see what the riders have ahead of them. What really has stood out for me so far in this race is the domestic teams from the USA. And as we said, for us in Europe and around the world, we're getting to see a lot of these teams for the first time. And hopefully, you know, again, as this race grows and grows and other races come on the calendar as well, we'll see more and more of them. But they really have been in attacking mood throughout this one. So thanks to all of you as well for getting on board. Arthur Gooseby is out there. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, Arthur. So just checking in. The one watching from the Philippines. So thanks for saying hi as well. And Moab, Utah, just checking in. Storm Rider saying hi from Ohio as well. So thanks for getting on board. So the Fearless Femme rider, Rebecca Wysack, there is a rider there wearing number 111. This is the third stage of the Colorado Classic. Chloe Dygert, as we said, Hannah, she has that 1 minute and 22 second advantage with 2 days to go in this one. It is going to be difficult, really, looking at this one, for anyone to unseat her.
Yeah, definitely. And the strength of Chloe will be difficult. You know, she's on such good form. And you just look at the time gaps, you know, in the top 10, Whitney Allison, 10th place, and she's 3 minutes 19 down, and it's going to be very, very difficult to, you know, get close any daylight to Chloe, and especially on these wide roads as well. You know, like the American racing is completely different to the European style of racing. The wider roads, you know, sort of benefit those riders who, you know, if you do have a big gap, it's so much easier to move up and sort of close any attacks quickly, and you know, Chloe would just be all over it. You know, she can just sit comfortably in the wheels of her teammates.
And we were saying a little bit earlier on, if you didn't see the Tour of Norway, we won't give any spoilers away for the Tour of Norway as well. So we won't let you know who's won or how that went. We'll let you watch that one as well. So if you didn't see that, we've only had a bit of a 30-minute gap between the Tour of Norway and here in the Colorado Classic. I'd say that we've jumped on Dan Lloyd's private jet, but even Dan Lloyd's private jet isn't fast enough to get us here. We've had a bit of a Harry Potter moment to get between Norway and Colorado, but I hope you're enjoying our double action. Thanks for saying hi as well. A top fan over on Facebook, Annie Manuel, checking in from Peru. Thanks for joining us. Bernard Mouger from Bretagne in France as well, and Chombo Yatu Savis checking in from Nicaragua. That's a first for us. I love to know where you're all watching us. It helps us paint a picture of just how global we are here at the Global Cycling Network, and it's always great to know that you're watching. Marco van der Hout just checking in as well, and thanks for saying hi. A regular in our chat forums as well is Marco van der Hout. Martin Ernstbrun watching the exciting racing. Greets from the 3 days of Ulster Cycling Woodstock, New York, the other women's race in the USA. So good to know that one's there as well.
I actually love to see where people are watching from. I think it's just so interesting. It's not just you know the countries that you think it will be. So yeah, incredible.
So if you've got any questions for Hannah Walker alongside me or me, Martin McDonald, we will do our best to answer them if there's anything that you're curious about. Katie Hall, you can see there, is wearing the Audi Most Inspirational Riders jersey, that light blue jersey, the US national team jersey. And we also have to give you the VF Corporation the badass jersey. I can't obviously say that, you know, in my terribly British accent, it doesn't quite sound how it should be if we say that. But the badass jersey, I hope I'm getting away with that. But Heather Fisher leading from DNA is leading in the black jersey as the most badass rider in the race. There you go. So we have it. So thanks to all of you for saying hi, and Mimo from Essex, checking in from Essex. Good to have you with us. Laurie McKinney, checking in from California. Dave Mandelson from Las Vegas. So thanks for saying hi from Las Vegas. Know it well. Mulish from Puerto Rico on the rollout. I'll just get a few shout-outs in while the riders are riding out here. Dave Fayram from Bellingham in WA. Is that Western Australia? WA? I think I'm getting that right.
Got Switzerland up there.
Yeah.
It's very global. Love it.
Baby Gerald from, I think it's Baby Gerald from Brooklyn, New York as well. Trad Biner from Denver. Rode part of the route yesterday. So great. Thanks all for saying hi. Today's stage, potentially, if it did come down to a sprint, Jennifer Valenti had a bit of a big payout yesterday. She won 10 grand in a sprint, $10,000 for a sprint. She could be a good one. We checked in with Meredith Miller as well. She said, yeah, that she could be a good bet.
Yeah, definitely. Even along with, you know, some of the likes of Lauren Stevens as well could certainly be up there. But, you know, like, we say it's kind of like a crit. Actually, it's more, you could compare it more to like a Comet, really, I think, Marty, can't you? With it being so long, and for those who don't know what a Comet is, kind of the races that you do out in Belgium. But, you know, since the get-go, the speed's been so high. It's not being controlled by one team or any team. It's just sort of been full gas, actually. I think it looks like Emma Grant, the British rider, up there in the front for Team 2020, teammate of Chloe Dygart.
I think this is Ariadna Gutierrez that's just on the front as well. So the Swap It team, they've been very animated. Aisha McGowan, we're just out of our picture. Aisha McGowan is being talked about a lot in this race. So you can see the green jersey just coming up towards the front as well. Olivia Barley, I think, from Fearless Femme, right on the back, alongside Rebecca Wisak. So you can see on this is the way this circuit, everyone just kind of checking it out, really, almost, in this one. They've got the Point S Auto Nokian tyre team in the bright yellow, up towards the front of this one. Caroline Manny, a really strong rider from that team. Dygert, though, you can see very much to the front on this opening lap. So the finish line for the first time after 14.6 kilometers covered. So we've got an intermediate sprint coming with 6 laps to go. And again, hence why, Hannah, on the opening lap, when you've got an intermediate sprint after 1 lap, again, it kind of almost neutralises that first lap, doesn't it, in terms of riders that want to go for that that sprint. It
kind of neutralises, but actually it keeps the pace high, because, you know, teams want to get involved and they want to sort of, you know, the riders who are leading or up there who've already had points in the first 2 stages, they want to gain more points. So actually it means that although, you know, there's been no real attacks, actually the pace has been very, very high. And like I said before, there's not been one team who's controlled it, but, you know, there's always been one member of team up towards the front patrolling it.
The Alp Cycles Racing team on the front. And you can see Rally Cycling controlling as well. They're up there behind. So the Rally team as well. Emma White is another rider that's we've talked about as well. Could be a potential for the stage today. So Fearless Femme, Flavia Oliveira, the Brazilian rider, who's in that team as well, wearing 112. And again, is having a great race so far. And you can see hand up at the back here. So just Andrea Ramirez just going back for Swap It's Ajolico.
Looks to me like she might have a rear wheel puncher there. Not quite sure.
So hand up, just waiting for the team car to come up. And Hagens Berman Supermint, how active were Hagens Berman Supermint yesterday? And the team made up of Leanne Ganza, Lily Williams, Jessica Cheddar, Lisa Raqueta, Whitney Allison and Lindsay Goldman. They were on the offensive right from the off yesterday and managed to place a rider into that breakaway. Lindsay Goldman getting up there. Whitney Allison, and it's Goldman as well that's not far from the front. Lisa Raqueta as well had quite a few digs off the front. Allison coming up here in the center of your picture, so looking to try and get some intermediate sprint points. Sits third in that classification behind she's only got 12 points, but just chipping away at these intermediate sprints as well could help her. And again, come to the finish, she looked good as well, very much on the opening day, looked super strong coming in towards the finish. So maybe Hagens Berman Supermint to get a rider in front of her and try and lead out this one.
Getting a glimpse of Rally UHC's Abby Mickey there up towards the front as well. You know, racing in her home county, so I know how excited she's been, you know, in the run up to this race.
So the crowd's growing as well over the course of the weekend. Show Air 2020, they've got a lot of work to do today for Chloe Dygert for Show Air 2020. Love to stuff in that we're getting plenty of cowbell along the side of the route as well. So we're getting a good view on the rollout here just of this circuit. Everyone at the moment quite happy to be huddled together at the moment. So no real big attacks, but as Hannah said, the pace nice and high on the rollouts. So Trad Biner just checking, no lookout mountain climb this year. No, doesn't look like it. Now we start to get a few little moves now, some attacks off the front here. So again, it's the Fearless Femme colours. This looks like Rachel Langdon that's going, the British rider from Fearless Femme. So in the blue, just on the attack. So again, she's been in attacking mood as Rachel Langdon throughout the race so far, and starting to just stretch a small advantage.
For this intermediate sprints competition as well, she's sitting in 11th place with, just the 5 points. Chloe Dygott leads the competition with 30, but all it takes is you to consistently take points, and she'll soon move up that classification. After yesterday's stage, she moved down 5 places, so easily will be able to jump up the standings should she take some points today.
So it is Rachel Langdon that's on the attack here. So, the Fearless Femme team living up to their name in this one. So you can see from Kentucky. And starting to just stretch a little advantage, starting to see a bit of reaction now coming out of the peloton behind. And I think in terms of the scenario, the way that Chloe Dygott would want to let this one play out here, looking for some riders lower down on the general classification to really get away, just to take the pressure off, just calm everything down until the later laps.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that'd be the ideal scenario. Whether it happens like that, maybe with having sort of intermediate sprints quite early, it could be perfect opportunity for breakaway to go. So like Rachel's doing now, she might be hoping actually after this intermediate sprint, I hope maybe a group of 4 or 5, as you can see now, there's a group of 5 coming across to Rachel Langdon. Looks like also Tanya Erath is in there for Canyon Schramm, the German rider. So actually perfect scenario, if she wants to force that breakaway as long as for Chloe, she'll be quite happy for breakaway when, like you say, if as long as they're far enough down general classification, take the pressure off her team, and she'll be quite happy.
So it's the reaction that comes from another one of the Fearless Femme team through towards the front. Just again, these little testing attacks. Katie Hall just coming up here, and again, Katie Hall, there was so much pressure on Katie Hall yesterday from, she's here, she's riding for the US national team, defending champion, and it didn't quite work out for her yesterday, but she's going on the attack now in that light blue Audi Most Inspirational Riders jersey. And again, some days that's bike racing, isn't it? It can happen, and a lot of people were sat back just watching her on the climb yesterday, just waiting for her to go.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also when you've got that pressure and people are sort of looking at you and you're defending champion, like you say, sometimes it doesn't work out. That's bike racing. That's why we love it. That's why it's so thrilling, and it's especially in the women's racing, it's never predictable. But I think she's just got to give it a go and try different things. Sometimes it's just not to be. And like now, Abby Mickey doing a great job on the front there for Rally UHC, closing Katie Hall down. For those who don't know, by the way, Rally UHC are racing in a blue jersey as opposed to their normal orange jersey, if you thinking it looks a little bit strange. Just so keep look out for the blue jerseys and not the orange ones.
Andrea Ramirez here, Colombian rider from Swap It. Again, these blue jerseys, we've seen them a lot in this race so far. Very, very animated they have been. And the reaction behind are the US national team colours again coming through towards the front. They're looking to really try and get something out of this race. Tatiana Goderzo rolls through to the front for B Pink. And Rally UHC again, those blue jerseys very much to the front of this one. Again, we're getting a bit of inside info on around the route here in Golden. So Trad Biner just passing the Railroad Museum, apparently. It was good to know that we were plenty of you locals and Passion Ciclismo. They're in Golden. They were in Golden the past winter as well. So a beautiful little town. Rachel Langdon goes again. for Fearless Femme. So again, you see this a lot in races. We did touch on it a little bit yesterday, but you do quite often see the same riders again and again and again trying to get into that breakaway.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, if that's been the team orders from the sports director, and they've made that plan, it's kind of like, this is your job today. We want you to, attack non-stop and also, try and make it hard and fast into the intermediate sprints and try and force a breakaway. And that's what riders do. That's the whole point of bike racing. You make a plan and you kind of stick to it. And, sometimes you will change the plan on the road if it's not going the way you might have wanted it or hoped it to go. But Rachel and Landon, certainly wanting to try and get some points in this intermediate sprint. I think that's clear to me that she definitely wants to move up in that classification.
Good to see it on the attack again.
She opened up a great gap this time as well, and actually no chase this time.
So Rachel Langdon for Fearless Femme. Second big attack from her, now going clear on this circuit, and you can see that it's you're getting a really good view now on just what this circuit here in Golden has ahead of the riders. And as we said, it is not flat by any means. It's everyone talks about bunch sprints on this one, but that climb, that's through the first intermediate sprint of the day. Langdon takes that one. Have a look behind the group behind, and it looks like our yellow jersey of Dygert. They just switched to the back of the peloton, so Dygert goes through there. Is that Valenti, her teammate? So they're just leading out here. So and then we start to climb. The road kicks up. Just we'll get a confirmation of that, I'm sure. It's couldn't quite get the close up of that group, but Langdon on the climb, and again, as we said, you can see just how it kicks up here as well. These are sometimes these are the worst climbs, aren't they? The ones that just straight roads that just kick up like this.
Yeah, you can just see the ramp on that camera angle, and actually it doesn't even gradually go up. It's just kind of like, one of these sort of typical American, I'd say, climbs where it's just a straight road and it just kicks up straight away, and it does take its toll on you. They're going to do 7 laps of this circuit, and this isn't the only climb on the circuit. It's just continuous and constantly up and down. Certainly wears the legs.
Holly Breck, I think, is on the front for Fearless Femme. Laurie McKinney, just on the chat forum on the YouTube, just saying she can really appreciate what the Colorado organisers have done by making this a premier women's race. It's a bold move, isn't it? And it's definitely one that's got them the attention that they wanted.
I think looking at the crowds at the side of the road, it's not been a bad move for them. I think everyone's absolutely loving it, and I think this stage in particular, a brilliant one to watch because you'll get to see the race 7 times. And if you were smart enough, you could move from different points on the circuit and then get back to see the finish. Great to see so much support for the race today and throughout, actually.
And we were saying earlier, we touched on it earlier, the Tour of Norway, when the American riders that we've got over there in that one with our little tiny narrow roads, and then the European riders that have come over here, the likes of Tatiana Gudurzo and the Canyon SRAM riders. It's payback time, isn't it, for the Americans to dish it out to the Europeans in this.
And it's turns to be completely different racing as well, doesn't it? Because you're able to sort of move up easier. As we see another attack now from Fearless Femme. This is incredible. This non-stop attacking in stage 3.
Flavia Oliveira going here for Fearless Femme, wearing number 112. Looks like Tiff Cromwell just neutralising that move. So Flavia, the rider there from Fearless Femme from Brazil. So, good to see her getting off the front here. And Katie Hall again pedals through towards the front of this one.
I think with the roads being so wide, it also lends itself to be naturally fast racing, especially on a course like this. That the pace is kind of just a bit relentless, because with the swell of people constantly moving up and trying to get through the peloton and be able to come around the outside, it just forces the pace to be faster and faster and faster. So although, you know, the roads aren't narrow and sort of technical, actually, you know, it makes the speed and pace so high, and especially, you know, throw in the climbs and the intermediate sprints and the like.
Flavia Oliveira on the front. So big thanks to Sydney White, who's one of our commentators here at GCN Racing, does our Portuguese commentary. But just give me a little background on Flavia, because I was just wanting to find out a little bit more about her. Some more little testing attacks going in. So Flavia is originally from Rio de Janeiro, Brazilian Air Force sergeant, currently lives in Littleton in Colorado. And she was runner-up in the Nationals Road and Time Trial this year. As a rider from the home nation, second on GC in the Guatemala Tour, collection of historical results for Brazilian women's cycling. 2017 in the Ardennes, she took 17th in Amstel Gold, 10th in Flèche Wallonne, the Giro Rosa Queen of the Mountains in 2015, and then thrilled the home fans with 7th in the Rio Olympics, finishing just 20 seconds behind Anna van der Breggen. So it's always nice to get a little bit of a home feel. So thanks to Sydney White for again just giving us a little bit more info on Flavia from Fearless Femme. So those attacks here, we've gone through the finish line for the first time, so 6 laps to go. And again, just sitting up, just taking the moment. Looks like grabbing a feed out of your pockets, and again those Fearless Femme jerseys again through towards the front. So the moves going in here. So Fearless Femme really dishing it out in this race right from day one. And you've got your Canyon SRAMs here, you've got your American national team, you've got but for Fearless Femme, for a lot of the domestic teams, which for us we're seeing a lot of the domestic colours for the first time, definitely not the last here on GCN Racing. So we will be bringing you more and more as we go on. So again, Hagensberm and Supermint are off the front. There's your sprint result. Rachel Langland from Jennifer Valenti, and it was Brody Chapman from Tibco getting up there, taking 1 bonus second. Good move. So Brody Chapman sitting second overall, closes to 1 minute and 21 seconds. Every second counts, isn't it? We don't say it for nothing.
No, definitely. And I think, you know, that's why she's going for it. You know, if she is able to close the gap over the next 2 stages to Chloe Dygott, you know, like you say, it could be every second that counts, and you know, we've seen it, you know, general classifications come down to 1-2 seconds. So all these intermediate sprints and the bonus times on the finish line, it all matters.
So if you've got, again, as Tatiana Godurzo on the front here for B Pink, as we will say, when we get into this situation as well, we've got, as we said, and we completely hot and we research and research and research. But if you've got riders in here that you want us to give a mention to, especially some of the domestic teams, and you know, post the information. You know, we had Mario Bastianelli with the Tour of Norway earlier, and we got lots of you that are family and friends, and you know, had Anna Henderson's dad earlier on the Tour of Norway as well. So if there's a rider and you just want us to give a little mention, we haven't seen them on the front, but they're still there, they're racing hard, they're working hard, they're doing their craft. Little bit of background info as we got there from Sydney White, and yeah, we'll give them a good old mention. Thanks as well to checking in, Thomas Mueller checking in from Berlin. Thanks for saying hi. Benjamin Sanchez watching in Houston. Ariel Savini watching in Argentina. Big shout out to Beverly Lucas in Bend in Oregon. Team 2020. Bit of a legend of the bike industry is Beverly Lucas. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for joining us. Jonathan Alorbu as well saying hi. So thanks to all of you. That's over on GCN Racing on Facebook as we are now broadcasting on our different platforms here. Thanks all of you as well. Don't forget, if you're new to the YouTube channel on GCN Racing, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon as well. You'll be notified every time we upload a new video. We will have daily highlights of the Vuelta as well. The team here, we bring the short 5-minute highlights daily in that one. So if you want a good dose of those short highlights, it's not a live stream, but it's everything that you could need, really. A little 5-minute package that we do for that. So thanks for joining us. If you've got any questions, Hannah Walker is with me today. If you're a fan of women's cycling over the years now, you'll know Hannah's voice as well. So if you've got any questions for Hannah, former pro rider, now doing well. Works for the WNT Rotor team as well. So if you've got any questions for Hannah, feel free to post them. DNA, again, these DNA colours. I'm a big fan of this jersey. DNA really digging in on the front here. Good stage that they had yesterday as well. So really now, and again, very attentive riding here from Hagens Berman Supermint. And for these teams as well, we've got right down at the front, Be Pink, Canyon SRAM, you've got your Katie Halls, got Tibco Silicon Valley. But for DNA, for Hagens Berman, for Fearless Femme, you know, taking a stage victory in this global TV coverage. This is you know, these sort of results are massive for them, aren't they? As Holly Breck goes on the attack here for Fearless Femme, these blue kit as well, very much evident to the front of this one. But if they could take a stage in this on with a global TV, it's massive for their teams and their careers.
Yeah, it absolutely be huge. I saw, you know, a number of these teams at you know, Hagens Berman's at Tour of California, and you know, they really they don't sit back and kind of not get involved. They're always getting involved. Lindsay Goldman, you know, the team owner, always getting involved with the racing and sort of, you know, she's not afraid to give it a go. As we saw her before, she was the rider before, trying to sort of break away and sort of force the pace. But I think it's, you know, brilliant. Fearless Femme, they've been on it since the get-go. So we see a little glimpse of Emma White there.
So we're not getting the audio on this, but Emma White, again, great track rider, great sprinter as well, isn't she?
Yeah, she's brilliant and real cyclocross star as well. She was recently racing at the Women's Tour of Scotland at the beginning of August, and she was in great form there.
So
she's probably only just dried out from that one as well, hasn't she? And of course, we've got to remember Kelly Caitlin as well, who we so tragically lost this year. So a tribute to her. So just taking a moment just to remember Kelly. Our action, you can see the attacks still now going in on the front here from this group. The Lux team as well. The Lux team in white, and Clara Honsinger finished 9th yesterday. Did Clara Honsinger at 1 minute and 33 seconds down, did Clara Honsinger. And as this stage goes on, the teams, again, Hagens Berman Superman, as soon as it relaxes, they're going again. It can take in a stage for anyone that's new to cycling, that might be watching for the first time. It can sometimes you can get a breakaway and it goes from the gun, can't it? And then sometimes, you know, it can take ages, kilometre, 10 kilometres, 20 kilometres, 30 kilometres before something can get established.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes you'll see, you know, a breakaway of 4 or 5 and you get, you know, what looks to be a good gap, 20 seconds, 30 seconds in it goes out, and then, you know, the peloton not happy with the composition, so they chase it down, and then another breakaway goes. And you see it in men's racing as well, you know, even like stages of the Tour de France, sometimes, you know, it'll take 2 hours for a breakaway to establish itself and, you know, sort of be the main breakaway of the day. But I think, you know, that's something in women's cycling that it's constantly, there's never, it goes straight away. It's just attack after attack after attack, and sometimes, you know, you might not have no breakaway, and there might have been, you know, only a maximum of 45 seconds gained in any one breakaway. But I think great to see, actually, you know, that some of these small teams really not scared to take it to the likes of Canyon SRAM, Team 2020, Hagens Berman Superman.
Definitely. And now again starting to get another small group just starting to get established now. 3 riders just clipping off the front here. And just to give you an update, this is the Colorado Classic. 7 laps of this 14.6 kilometer circuit here in Golden. Again, just it's a tough circuit, you can see, to try and get away on. But 3 riders. This is starting to look like a good move now. Just getting off the front. So our Kogas colours the long shot at the front for Kogas is Amber Neben potentially. That's trying to get off the front here. We'll get a closer look as the camera comes in. But another couple of riders just clipping off the front here. A couple of members of the US national team that are on the attack here.
Looks like Lindsay Goldman as well from the Hagensbergen Supermint, so the team owner of that one in this trio.
So just back at the bike, so we've got Samantha Runnels. Again, just looking for the car, looking for the team car, front wheel puncture. And again, in this situation, you've just got to keep going for as long as possible, haven't you? Rather than sort of slamming the brakes on.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, I think that sometimes comes with experience, that knowing what to do, that just to keep rolling, and wait for the car to come to you rather than you go back to the car, because it's going to be a long old chase now for Runnels. It's not been such a smooth change either.
And again, the disc just, you can hear the disc rubbing there as well. And again, this is again for mechanics. You can hear the disc rubbing on the front there. And this is something we haven't seen so far. Yeah, is it?
No,
the problem with the discs rubbing like this.
I think for me as well, she needs to maybe get off the bike. She's still on the bike. She's kind of putting pressure. The mechanic's trying to change the wheel while she's sort of holding down and putting pressure on it. And it's kind of maybe not going in straight, or he's doing some adjustments now to the brake. Looks to be okay now, but for me, I'd have got off the bike, given the bike to the mechanic, let him do his thing, and then get back on. I think that's the simplest way. Let him do his thing, and then you go and do yours.
There's been a lot of talk about the discs, and I think that's the first time from a team we've seen that issue. But again, you're a rider in a national team and not in your domestic or your racing, your own team.
I think some of these riders, you know, they're not going to be used to working with these mechanics. The mechanics aren't going to be used to working with these riders. You know, they might have worked together before, but it's not like on domestic, you know, international teams or your trade team, should I say, where you know each other inside out and you know how everything operates. But you know, she will try and use the cars to get back to the front group. This peloton now, but it's going to be a long old chase after that.
So Emily Marcolini is the TIBCO Silicon Valley rider. It's on the front here. So our rider from the US national team, Samantha Runnels, has just got a bit of a chase now to get back on here. She'll be hoping that the pressure really goes out of this one, just to allow her to get into the convoy of cars behind the race. And just try and get back. As a rider as well, when you're in that situation, when the change goes wrong, you can't panic, can you? You can't, you've got to just take your time, ride back. As Oliveira, it looks like going again. Let's see from the aerial shot if we can just see where Runnels is in the convoy of cars behind the race.
And I think that sort of when you're under pressure and you're sort of in a bit of a panic as well, it puts sort of panic into the mechanic as well. And then he's trying to do his job as quick as possible, and you know, when it doesn't go right, you start panicking even more that you're wasting time and you've lost a lot of time. And you know, actually, you know, she's lost so much time that the convoy isn't even in front of her, so it's going to be a long old chase today. The car is still just near her, but it's just wasn't one of the slickest changes. And you know, I think we saw that even she stopped quite early as well. She went back to the car as opposed to kind of waiting for the car to come to her. And
so Runnels, cyclocross rider as well. So we saw some cyclocross changes from Marianne Vos a little bit earlier on. You've got to have those. But Runnels is a good talented cross rider. Is the rider for the American national team. So 63.7 miles to go, just rolling out. You can see knocking out this tempo in a big gear. I think it's Marcolini now that's back with her. So she was on the front a moment ago. Don't know if Marcolini's had an issue for TIBCO Silicon Valley Bank. Again, the split program, if you were with us for the Tour of Norway a little bit earlier on. But Runnels as well. She's got to work with Marcolini here and try and come back. And the mechanic as well, the USA national team mechanic, he'll just be kicking himself, won't he? Because the mechanics, knowing what team mechanics are like, they're always distraught when something like that happens.
Definitely, because you know that is their job to make sure everything's working on the bike for the rider, and to make everything as slick and smooth as possible. And that, that's their main job of being inside the team car, to make sure that they're able to change it as quick as possible, get the rider back into the peloton as quick as possible. And it wasn't the best of changes, but we've got still a lot of racing to go. But unless this peloton sits up, it's going to be a very, very long, hard chase for Runnels.
If it goes like this, the way it's going now, this is going to be a really, really brutal day, isn't it? It's going to be very, very attritional, especially as we hit that climb each lap that will just start. If we've got a relentless pace like this throughout, it's going to be a very tough day for the riders. Through the line again, and it's again the colours of Fearless Femme that go through the line this time. Looks like Flavia Oliveira that's on the attack again for Fearless Femme. So going through the line. So 5 laps to go this time. So 5 to go. So they've just taken the graphic out of the top corner. And on to the climb, and again the attacks going in thick and fast. Good digging in again, Flavia Oliveira from Brazil. Now
incredible climber.
And that Rio course as well, when you look at where she finished in that one, that would, looking at her, that would, again, perfect, absolutely perfect course for her. And when you get that opportunity to ride in front of your home crowds, there's a lot of the Colorado riders here as well. It just gives you that little bit of extra speed, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's like 3 watts, isn't it? To be able to, have the home crowd supporting you and cheering you on. And I think Sydney was saying before, she lives in Colorado now, so she's kind of got a hometown feel racing here as well. But I think there's no better feeling. You'll have family and friends being able to be on the course, cheering you on, and some of these riders might even know the roads that they're racing on over the 4 days of racing. Added bonus as well, so it's it's brilliant. And maybe Flavia knows this route, and maybe she knows the places where to go, and she might have recorded it before in training, because she's off again.
She really wants to get away in this one, you can see. So definitely wants to go for something today. Sits 7th overall at 2 minutes and 36 seconds. So a bit of a problem now for Amber Neben.
Looks like the rear mech or something, or the chain's jammed and the rear mech won't just... Getting some roadside assistance from a photographer.
So let's see if she can get that one sorted. And again, just trying to sort out the bike, Amber Neben. Looks like she's having some real issues with the bike here, the Kogas rider. So the mechanic just coming back as the marshal stops right in front of the camera. That's always really helpful, isn't it?
Flavia opened up a good gap now after that attack. But it's Goldman again chasing this one back from Hagensberg and Supermint. Been ever so active throughout today's stage. But she's not wanting to let the breakaway go. She's very keen to actually keep the whole peloton together.
Definitely. See what the plan is for them. Heather Fisher, we can see her. She's in that black jersey of the VF Corporation. So Heather Fisher from DNA, that badass jersey. So good to see her getting up there as well. So we're seeing quite a few issues on this circuit as well. So mechanicals. So hopefully those riders can get themselves back. But it's a very tough circuit to come back on. If you get out, if you're unlucky enough for the convoy of cars to come past you, that's why when Samantha Runnels had a problem, that's why we all, when you're trying to teach riders in this situation, and if you're not regularly in this situation where you have to use the cars and you're getting wheel changes from those cars behind, isn't it? It's waiting if you can, and on a circuit like this, if you puncture even a front wheel on a long stretch, you can still ride on the rim, can't you? And you've got to, that way you're limiting the amount of work that you've actually got to do to get back into the race. So you can see here that Runnels and Marcolini, they're not in the convoy, so they're having to chase back, so they're using a huge amount of energy. If you wait for that team car to come to you, because as soon as you put your hand up, they let the DS know that you've got a problem and you're coming back. Aisha McGowan now on the offensive here, so good to see her getting up here. So another good duo of riders, so two from the same team that are now going off the front. So again, good to see two riders together from the same team, just trying to double team it off the front here and try and get away. So ALP are the team that are on the attack here. Andrea Puttine is the other rider that's now gone. So this is a good move here from the ALP Cycles Racing team. So that's the bonus cash lap that you can go off if you feel free if you want to contribute to the bonus cash lap. That's the number on your screen. If you are just joining us, welcome aboard. We are on the stage 3 of the Colorado Classic presented by VF Corporation. We are in Golden today on this tough circuit. As we can see, nothing managing to get established on this one at the moment. So Bettine, they've been joined here, the colours of B Pink. And again, the peloton just closing down again, really not wanting to let anything get away here. Canyon SRAM,
they're not happy with anything, are they? You know, no matter what team it is, not happy with any breakaway composition.
This
really makes for hard racing. And like going back to what we were saying before, when you're out of that convoy and not able to get back in because, you know, either of a crash or a mechanical, once you're out of that bubble, genuinely, it is so hard, especially when you're not getting any draft from cars or riders, or, you know, there's not a bunch of you, and especially it's just non-stop. As soon as one breakaway is caught, now it's Tibco trying to get away, and, you know, really force a split. It might not be that they're trying to attack, it's just they want to make it so hard and so fast that people almost go out the back as opposed to riders going off the front.
Definitely, I think there's Caroline Manny up towards the front as well. Caroline Manny, so again, for all you cross fans, really super talented cross rider from Point S Auto Nokian Tyres. And again, more attacks going in. So Fearless Femme, again, we've seen these colours constantly throughout this race so far. We've got Ramirez trying to get away in this group. And again, the Point S Auto Nokian Tyres team just trying to come across that gap. Just good question here from Peter Slagers. Do we have small teams of 6 riders here too? Yes. Maximum team size is 6. But some teams, again, they depending on the size of the team, haven't managed to field their full complement of 6 riders. In a UCI race, it's generally a minimum of 4, isn't it? From memory.
Yes,
got to field.
Minimum of 4, maximum of 6 in races like this. You know, some riders, some teams have only got 4 at the minute. You know, it might be, you know, some riders might have DNF'd over the last couple of stages, or, you know, some might have come in with illness, and you know, I know some teams, although they are fielding the full roster, Canyon SRAM and Rally, both fielding, you know, on a double program this weekend. Half the team in Ladies Tour of Norway, half the team here. Same with Tibco Silicon Valley Bank. They've got 5 riders racing today.
Our 2 riders, they're keeping a camera on them. It's a lonely ride for these 2, and in this situation, this early in the race on a circuit like this, time limits can start to become an issue if you start to get too far off the back, can't it?
Yeah, definitely, and it's something that you really need to be mindful of, that you can't just, once you dropped, or not being able to get back to the group, should I say, that you don't go over that limit, because the commissaires, they're not lenient. Like, if you're over the time limit, that's it, and you won't be able to start tomorrow's final stage. So if we've got a fast stage today, it could easily put riders out of contention, depending on what it's usually around 20%, I think, of the time limits. Try and find out
I think it's
specifics
10
for
in this
you.
one. So I will double check what it is today, and if you, it's pretty brutal. I've had riders that finished 3, 4, 5, and 6 seconds outside of time limits before, and the commissaires would not put them back in.
No, there's no leniency at all. And I think if there's a rule, there's a rule, and it's if they let one rider in, then it's kind of the next day they could be like, oh, well, why, you've let them back in yesterday, sort of let me back in. But we'll try and get the confirmation on that as soon as possible.
So we've got a sprint to go with 4 laps to go this time. So again, you can see why the peloton are happy to keep everything together here at the moment. Just at the back here, Catherine Collin, number 106 from the Amy D Foundation from South Africa. And as well, Emma Langley we saw there as well. And some of the, from time to time, we'll get these little videos that they'll just pop up without warning as well. So drafting, right? You can see rider can save over 30% of energy by riding in the draft of a teammate or a competitor. The pace line, as they call it, so a group of riders drafting off one another. We use different terminology as well in different parts of the world. So riders take turns to break the wind at the front of the
or even
of the
it's
group.
kind of like throwing off what we say in
We
in
say
UK.
throwing off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll hear the words again: chain gang, group ride.
I was going to say, it'd be interesting to know what the people say around the world.
Yeah.
Comment or tweet us in what you call it.
So sprints, a little high-powered fast riding. So good to have a little 101. The lead out into the sprint. So you'll see the riders leading out for their sprinter. Their sprinter will generally, coming into the sprint, be the rider either second wheel from the back or the last wheel. So as you'll see on run-ins to a lot of sprints, they'll put one teammate behind, and then as they come in towards the sprint, that teammate then moves ahead of them, and they are then that lead out coming in towards the finish. A breakaway, so a little attack. So riding in that group. Good to see they've used the US national team for this one. So you're trying, you can see the breakaway. You're trying to get a group of you away to form a breakaway. That's your attack. So when a rider successfully gets the gap over the peloton, solo flyer. That's another American term, that one. So get your terminology around the world, what you call them. So that's our little glossary there as well. So what do you call the various things there as well? Have you got particular names in your countries as to what you call everything? So there's various terms that we have. So Dick Martino as well. Yes, the rider's taking a turn to break wind on the front of the group. So again, that's everyone sitting behind them. Few again, I haven't seen if Amber Neben's got back in there yet. It looked like that looked like a kind of electronic shifting issue that she had on the front of that one when she was just off the back of the group. Marco van der Hout saying kop over kop. I'd say that's the Dutch one. Sprint and trekken for doing a lead out. So that's the Dutch one. So good. Thanks for that one. So thanks for letting us know.
Head? Is it head over head? Kop.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, because Koppenberg. So the means like, doesn't that mean baby heads? The Koppenberg actually means the head of the baby head
maybe.
climb. That's what Koppenberg means. Marco will probably correct me on that one, or he'll tell me if I'm right. So as far as I know, Koppenberg means the baby heads climb, because the cobblestones. Yeah, that's wrong, isn't it? So apologies. Peter Moulet checking in as well. Thanks for saying hi. Judy Rapp from Green in New York. Thanks for saying hello as well. Cody Matthew calendar from Granite City in Illinois. So thanks for checking in. If you are just joining us, Colorado Classic Stage 3. We are in Golden today. And it's a tough circuit, nothing managing to get away so far. We're coming in to the intermediate sprint lap this time with 4 laps to go. Going into today's stage, if you weren't with us earlier, Chloe Dygert leading by a minute and 22 seconds after 2 stage victories. She leads Brody Chapman by 1:22, Omar Shapiro by 1:33. That is your top 3. Yesterday's stage, Dygert from Chapman, Shapiro, Harris up there as well, Dobell, Hickok, Patel, Stevens, Oliveira, Honsinger and Hall. That was your top 10. Potentially, though, we're looking at this race. We have it all the time, don't we? Mariana Vos has whitewashed races. Lorena Wiebes in Tour of Chongming Island this year. Chloe Dygert, potentially, if we look at the way she's riding, because she can sprint as well. There's that scenario in races, isn't there, as well? If someone is as strong as Chloe Dygert and as versatile as Chloe is in this race, potentially you're gunning for completely whitewashing the race, aren't you? And just taking every stage and every jersey that you can.
Definitely. I think looking at the way she's racing today and the way her team are racing today, you sort of tell you that, they're potentially going for the stage victory. They're not bothered about these intermediate sprints. They know that Chloe's got a very cushy 1:22 lead over Chapman. So these kind of, in her eyes, actually, she doesn't want to waste time trying to just pick up 3 or 2 or 1 second bonuses in the intermediate sprints. Actually, she wants to save everything and go for the finish. 10 seconds on the line for as a bonus for the victory.
And now she's moving up.
We can see her
we can see her in that yellow jersey just moving up there as well. So trying to position herself for the next sprint. Marco van der Hout just saying, yes, kop means head. Also, cobblestones are known as kinderkoppen in some parts of the Netherlands and Belgium. So I was right. Okay.
Our Dutch is very impressive, I must say.
I do try. We do try. I won't give myself a pat on the back for that one, but we do try. Now we start to we'll see again these riders come through towards the front. I think, again, Chloe Dygert, she's got a good enough advantage in this one. She's just got to marshal these sprints, hasn't she? Just position herself, keep herself out of trouble, make sure that, doesn't get caught too far back in the peloton if there's any splits or any issues.
Yeah, I think, as you were saying before, she is very, very versatile. So she's positioning wise, she's very, very good. She can also sit on the front for a long time. Sort of, she could go early, so she could, sort of open up her sprint with 300 meters to go and sort of get around the jink that goes into the finish. And so, but she has got a strong team around her. In saying that, she has got Jennifer Vellante on her team, very strong sprinter and great track rider as well. But maybe it'll be. Do they want to sort of go for a clean sweep for Chloe, or sort of ride for Jennifer today?
I think as this race goes on round this circuit as well, I think we're going to start to see some real attacks on the last laps of this circuit. A lot of you loving seeing racing back in Colorado. When I first got into cycling, the Colorado Classic was the race that took place 1980 to 1988. Had one of the best leaders jerseys as well, the Coors Classic. It was that red and white jersey, and I remember getting videos, as it was back then, VHS videos sent across of the Coors Classic. Hannah's rolling her eyes.
Crazy. Can't believe it.
Do you remember those people? Anyone out there remember VHS videos? And you used to get them on the front of magazines as well.
Wow.
Winning magazine, Velo News, I used to get sent over as well. Had a bit of a US racing obsession when I was a junior back in the 80s. Sean Wallace, who's a good friend of mine, was very lucky to be coached by his dad, and Sean used to send Velo News over, and he was a great crit rider, rode with the Wheaties team back in the day. And my bike had grip shift on the end of my handlebars, like Bob Myonsk, and I had a Huffy bike that I'd had sprayed up as well. That was back in the day.
Wow.
And the Coors Classic was the race back then. Davis Finney, the last winner of that back in 1988. Inga Thompson, of course. Let's take you through some of the names that won the Coors Classic. Connie Carpenter.
Jenny Longno as well.
Connie Carpenter, Finney, had Taylor Finney's mum Davis Finney, Taylor Finney's dad. They both won that race. Katie van Oosterhagen, so the Dutch won it on a couple of occasions as well. Hannah North was the first rider to win that back in 1975. Beth Hayden. We were talking about Beth Hayden the other day in the crossover from speed skating to cycling as well. Beth Hayden taking that. Connie Carpenter again, a couple of years, 81, 82. Rebecca Twigg took the race as well. Legend of US cycling. Maria Cannons from Italy, again, a former cross-country skier, winner of the 3-week Women's Tour de France as well. Jenny Longo on 3 occasions. And again, Inga Thompson, another legend of American cycling. She took that in 1988 as well. So, yeah, that was a great race. Rachel Langdon, again, we haven't seen her for a while, was the rider that was attacking earlier on in the day. And again, you just see that move being marshalled by Tiff Cromwell. This finish today, this stage, for me, has got Tiff Cromwell written all over it as well. It's a sort for an Aussie as well. It's a sort of stage that could really suit her.
Yeah, definitely. And the only, especially with it, it's not too technical, but with the little sort of jing going into the finish, definitely could be one for Tiff. The way she's riding, though, would sort of suggest it'd be more for Tanya Erath. Tanya Erath is sat in Tiff's wheel there, and just the way she's riding him and putting out so much power and riding so hard on the front. Tanya Erath, a very, very strong rider, came from the Zwift Academy. But they certainly wanted to kind of split this group up a little bit.
Indeed, and just leading this one out, you see the yellow jersey, Chloe Dygert, as we come through these corners, past those orange barriers. Tiff Cromwell leading out Tanya Erath here. So just great sprint there for that one. So just comes across the line, almost to take that. Here they go, they're hunting down the sprint, so the line's just a little bit ahead of them now. Here comes the challenge behind. Can she hang on to take that one? Is that Valente that's getting up there as well? So great sprint, good lead out there by Canyon Schramm. Dygert's just having a little look back over the shoulder. Is that Emma White that's got up there as well? Valente on the left. So we're just sprinting it out for this one. Let's have a look as they cross the line there. Just showing that. So she did hang on to take that one. And it was Emma White that got up there.
I think that was the bonus sprint with the prize money, the crowdfunding, the fans sprint. So taking away the money there.
Chloe Dygert, look at this, just pedaling through. So she's just sat on the wheel. Brodie Chapman right behind her. She's wearing that orange jersey. You can see the Tibco rider. It's just doing the right thing, just latching onto the wheel of Chloe Dygert. She's not going to let her go anywhere today.
Just see the way that Dygert is pedaling, is keeping a very low cadence, or high cadence, should I say. And when she doesn't need to pedal, she's not pedaling. She's saving every inch of energy, bit of energy that she can. She's very attentive, looking around, looking who's around her, looking for the riders, checking for any attacks that might be about to be launched. But she doesn't ever come through. She doesn't ever let herself touch the wind or be able to have to push the wind.
She just shook her head there. Did you see that when the
she was quite happy with that situation though, because it's not really for her to have to chase either.
So there you have it. Tanya Erath takes it ahead of, it was Jennifer Valente and Emma White that just followed her across the line again. So that was your 5-3 and 1 points on sprint 2. That was with 4 laps to go. Again, another little group just clipping off the front here. So as this race goes on, again, as they get towards the final laps here, this Washington Hill, you can see it's, and the fast flowing circuit that we have here in Golden, it's just not letting any major breakaways become established at the front. Hagen's Berman Supermint rider, is she going to get on to this move? So Oliveira again, she's been so animated throughout this race so far. Great stage today. And again, we're out of the bunch. What you're seeing as well here, it's the attacks that are coming out of the bunch. They're not big enough to get. They're not gapping anything. So at the moment, all we're getting is a whole group of riders in the middle. That then means that it just draws the gap back in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just means the peloton could sort of just start to claw them back in. I mean, we've not really seen anything more than maybe 8, 9, 10 seconds of a gap from any of the breakaway attempts. It's just, especially when the peloton isn't happy with the composition, and when a rider, like there's got 2 riders in the gap now, when they've missed it and they want to get across it, it kind of like comes as a springboard for the peloton to actually just close the gap quicker to those in the lead breakaway. And if they've missed it, they want to be involved, especially these small teams who, this is the biggest race that they might have done in their career so far. So they want to be involved in the action. They want to get into this breakaway, and you just never know how the stage might play out. They might know themselves that actually I'm not going to be up there in the sprint. I'm not going to be up there in the final. So let's try something in the meantime.
Maddie Ward, so Cara O'Neill, Flavia Oliveira, Jess Serra, and Maddie Ward, the makeup of our group so far. We've just got one rider that's just got on as well from Kogas. So this is a good-looking group now. 35.6 miles of the stage remaining, 57.2 kilometres to go. So Hagens Bowman, Supermint, been on the attack throughout the stage today. Is this Edwig Patel that's got on to the back? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So Edwig Patel, number 32.
52 years of age. Incredible, isn't it?
She's such an inspiration, isn't she? Still racing as a pro at 52 is the rider in red, Edwig Patel. So this group, as we said, the riders that are attacking out of the group, they've got to get you've got to get your pace line organised.
Yeah,
you do. Our correct American terminology. And again, you see, just as we said, too many riders not getting organised quickly enough. Riders in the gap, and it draws everything back together again.
I think as well, when the likes of Canyon Schramm have missed that front group, Tiff Cromwell again closing that gap to the breakaway. They're really not wanting any breakaway to get away today. Certainly going for a sprint at it, in my opinion. Whether that be for Tanya Erath.
So thanks to all of you as well. The Thread by the Betamax as well videos reminding us. Dick Martino, I don't sound 50, Dick. I'm not far away, I'll tell you. Only a few years to go. Not quite 50 yet, but yeah, that's the next big milestone for me. Laurie McKinney used to post covers of Winning Magazine all over your room when you're a young aspiring racer. NB Protocol, good old bikes, a Massey bike. Yeah, my brother's still got one of those. My brother Anthony's still got a Massey bike as well. Lauren McKinney, American Flyers, what a movie. That was a great movie as well, based around Colorado. No more attacks now going in. That attack comes to nothing. The next move goes, and Fearless Femme, really, the team, I've got to say, one of the teams of the stage so far. They really have been on the offensive in this one, right from the off as well. Lindsay Goldman again latching in there in second wheel.
Another inspirational woman owning the team. She's got a young child as well, so racing professionally, managing a professional team, and sort of holding down a family and a young child. Very inspirational. We had the pleasure of meeting her at the Tour of California back in May and having a bit of a sit-down chat with her and learning how she manages everything, and absolutely incredible and very, very inspirational.
There's Emma White, number 14. So if you're used to as well in Europe of seeing the orange rally jerseys, they're in the blue jerseys in this one. Jess Serra again with Katie Hall right on the wheel. Pink. I think we've got Silvia Valsecchi getting up here. But Katie Hall in that Audi inspirational jersey, just to give you an idea of the jersey that you're watching out for. So this is the Audi inspirational jersey, the blue jersey. First Bank is the orange jersey, which is the sprint leaders jersey, which Chloe Daiger is leading, but Brodie Chapman is wearing that. The Best Young Riders jersey, that VF Corporation green jersey, as the Best Young Rider. And Harris is wearing that one, I think, is third in that classification. So Chloe Dargett is leading in that competition ahead of Oma Shapira and Ella Harris. I think it's Ella Harris that's got it. I think that Oma Shapira's national champs jersey trumps the leader's jersey in that one. And again, it's Rachel Langdon. She's literally throwing everything at this stage today. And again, she's got I think she's chasing the badass jersey for tomorrow, because she wore it after the first stage, and I think she's chasing that one, I think, for tomorrow. Just attack after attack after attack. So I hope you're enjoying our coverage. And our other jerseys to watch out for, so the VF Corporation, the badass jerseys, the black jersey. You've seen Chloe Dargett in the yellow jersey, the Gates Corporation jersey. Colorado Tourism, the Queen of the Mountains classification is that blue and green jersey. So that's that Queen of the Mountains jersey. Jess Serra again having a little dig off the front. So I think Oma Shapira's maybe she's wearing the Queen of the Mountains.
I think
jersey.
She's borrowing it off.
She's keeping it warm.
Yes, for Chloe Dargett. So if you don't understand, if Chloe Dargett is leading multiple classifications, she'll wear the yellow jersey to denote that she's the leader in the general classification. As we see a crash at the front of the peloton there from around second wheel. That was a hard crash, the way she landed.
So the riders there.
Looks like Lindsay Goldman is the rider who came down there for Hagens-Berman Supermint. Looks really landed hard on her shoulder there.
And again, just trying to unclip your feet from your bike. So again, really frustrated. Just breathing that one out. So good to see her up, bouncing up so quickly. They're just checking that she's okay. Gives herself a bit of a pat down. And that's Brenna Rye Simpson that's just ahead from DNA. So she's getting her breath back here, Lindsay Goldman. She wants to try and, again, she'll want to try, knowing her, get into the cars here and get on her way as quickly as she can, just checking the bike over. So our DNA rider back up and getting going. So got to get the chain on as well. So they've the neutral service bike. So get the rider up and running again. You can just see the cars. They've been gapped by the convoy. Let's have a look at this one. So just the DNA rider, it looks like, went down on the front, just touched a wheel, looks like, potentially. But both all our riders look like quickly back up and on their way. And again, you just see the riders just moving around each other. Lindsay Goldman. Again, you get that ricochet effect, don't you, sometimes when a rider goes down, it kind of moves across the peloton.
I think, as well, it just shows how quick of reactions riders have to avoid. And as soon as you hear that sound of a crash, it's sort of like, get away from it as quick as possible. With a crash that happened so close to the front of the peloton, it was lucky in that only two riders came down there. Lindsay Goldman actually looked quite hurt, a little bit winded, I think, especially the way she landed. But yeah, just the ricochet of the peloton, as soon as it goes outwards, try and get round.
You just saw Lindsay doing that thing you do as a bike rider, isn't it? You just pat yourself down, just checking that nothing's broken. And again, bike riders, we see them go down, and you'll see now that if any rider's gone down, they hit their head. The doctors and everyone are right with them, and a rider knows when they've hit their head, and they know the protocols that are coming into cycling, which I think is a great thing and something that they need to do. Because sometimes you go down on a bike, you do whack your head on the roads, but you just saw her doing the right thing. And bike riders are made of tough stuff as well, aren't they? They just check it, nothing's sticking out, nothing's broken. If you've got some grazes, you've taken the paint off.
And sometimes with the adrenaline sort of comes in, and even sometimes I've known people who have broken a collarbone, kind of just got back up on the bike through the adrenaline and got to the end of the stage and been like, it's kind of a little bit sore here. And actually, they've broken a collarbone. You kind of think to yourself, how do you not know? But I think sometimes, you're just in that moment of thinking, like what we were saying before, you're just trying to get back on your bike as quick as possible, get back to the peloton, get back into the race. But hopefully, Goldman isn't too hurt after that one. She's been so active so far as well.
So heading back round again towards the finish. It's the first time that anyone's had a chance to take a drink here as well, isn't it? It's with the pressure's kind of gone off for the first time, really. If you've been with us since the start of our broadcast here, thanks for staying with us all throughout the stage. It's stage 3 in Golden, 102.5 kilometres, 7 laps of this 14.6 kilometre circuit. Again, swap it at Jolicoeur going 2 riders off the front, just saying, you know what, everyone's having a drink and having something to eat. It's time to go on the offensive. And again, good to see this team being so animated in this race. This team, so the team made up of Marcela Prieto, Annette Barrera, Ariadna Gutierrez, Andrea Ramirez, Maria Jose Vargas, and Miriam Nunez. So 4 riders from Mexico, Maria Jose Vargas and Miriam Nunez as well. So good to see Miriam Nunez in there for Ecuador as well. So good 2 riders and this group. So we're starting to get another move just going off the front here. Can we get a breakaway established here on stage 3? Nothing's stuck so far. A pretty brutal day for the riders when it's just attack after attack after attack. I mean, when you're in this situation, Hannah, you got that momentary lull. Throughout this, riders would have just been, looking for that opportunity to try and get a feed and just try and get a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, definitely. That's the key thing. We're almost at about, we're more than halfway, or just over halfway into this stage 3. And, riders, just want to take a feed, get some food or energy and gels on board. And, the Swap It duo and the rider from Fearless Femme, it's like, nope, we're off. We want to force this breakaway, and actually this is the biggest lead we've seen for the whole stage. Despite how many attacks we've seen, and we've seen numerous, this is the largest gap we've seen. But Peloton quite happy with it. If they're not in contention with the general classification, they'll be quite happy to let them carry on.
So the camera just pans back there, just shows the corner, and again just see some more attacks just coming out of that group behind, trying to get up to this trio. And again on these wide, long, straight roads here on this one. So can this trio again get established? Again, looking at this one, the riders, if they're trying to, get on the attack, get up there, you've got to get some big jumps in it. It's easier said than done when we're sat here chatting about it, but looking at the way the gaps that have come back, the breaks that have come back, it's just been riders that just haven't had that speed to really jump and really get a gap that's been just dragging everything back.
Yeah, it looks like Lindsay Goldman has just joined the back of the peloton after a nasty crash, so everything looks okay so far. But good to see her get back to that group. When going back to the attacks, Marty, like you say, with the such this must have been a teammate there who was helping her back in. So now Goldman makes it back into the peloton. Well, it's Lily Williams.
So up to our leaders. So we've got Andrea Ramirez, Maria Jose Vargas, and Olivia Barrio. That's the makeup of our breakaway group. So Swap It and Jolicoeur going on the attack here. So Andrea Ramirez. So it's the Hagens-Berman Supermint team. So it's like Lisa Raquetto at the back here. So we're just trying to come back. So they're trying to get Lindsay Goldman back into that group. Sometimes riders will drop back to try and help their teammates back into that peloton.
Teams will have race radios in this race too, so they can communicate with their teammates, communicate with the sports directors in the car. They can call their car up if they need any food or assistance, or if they have a mechanical or they want want anything, or even if they just want to go back to the team car and have a chat about, you know, what's the plan, what should we do, you know, kind of the race isn't going as we thought, you know, is there anything we should do, or should we attack early, or, you know, if there's any riders who say, actually, you know what, the race, we were going to race for me today, but I'm not feeling that great, maybe I'll go back to the team car, let's have a bit of a change of plan.
Lots of chat going over on the forum as well, and I'll say, watch with your Vuelta spoilers on the chat forum as well. Remember, people are watching this one, and they're wanting to watch the Vuelta a little bit later on. So try and keep your results. I know we're all eager to let each other know what's going on, but remember that people who watch this one and watch the Vuelta later, so no spoilers over on the chat forums as well. Our breakaway group, Barril, Ramirez and Vargas, that's the makeup of this group. So finally, Fearless Femme, after numerous attacks so far in this stage, managed to get into this the first breakaway that looks at the moment like it might stick. They have been on the offensive throughout this one. What a great stage they have had. Rachel Langdon, as we said, one of the riders, most animated riders in the stage so far today. Flavia Oliveira as well. So great shots around here in Golden. So 47.6 kilometers of the stage remaining. Who can take this one? Chloe Dygert has won the first 2 stages. They're going to get 3 laps to go when they come round towards the finish this time. That little climb, can that become decisive on the course of the final lap here in Golden? Just to excuse the team here from Swap It, Flavia Oliveira, who we know from, you know, who's been in Europe, running the Giro Rosa, the Ardennes Classics, the Olympic Games. But going into Tokyo next year as well, you know, it's a fantastic opportunity for us to be able to see these, you know, these riders coming through.
Yeah, and, you know, seeing the emerging talent coming out of South America is incredible. We've seen it in the men's side of cycling. You know, they've been dominant over the last few years. But, you know, in previous years we had Sofia Ariola, who was a great track rider. And she was, you know, more or less like one of the only riders from Mexico who was representing along with her sisters. But now, you know, they see, you know, a team where there's 4 Mexican riders on this road team. I think it's absolutely fantastic to see how the sport of cycling is evolving, actually, and how it's becoming a lot more global.
I think you only have to look at our chat forum to see how global cycling is, and the audience as well. So again, thanks for all your chat and your input going over on there. 3 laps to go this time, 28.2 miles of the stage remaining. So we're heading there. So 3 to go this time. So our 3 leaders onto this Washington climb.
Fans are great on the other side of the road at this race. Our very own Moose.
His antlers get bigger and bigger all the time, don't they? That is
brilliant.
That's a serious set of antlers. So again, you've got to watch it on a road such as this, though. And the riders, again, that breakaway comes to nothing. The attacks now coming in. The B-pink jerseys up towards the front. Again, Oliveira looking for a bottle from the Soigneur at the side. Nicely done. I think as a Soigneur, when you come through at that speed, you almost lose your arm as a rider and a Soigneur with trying to take a bottle at that speed.
Time and practice. Tiffany Cromwell all over it, over the B-pink attack there, along with Flavia's attack. Forced almost a split of around 10 riders. So it's that time up the climb after the finish line has completely split this peloton. Riders going out the back now, unable to hang on with the pace.
So this move now, look at this group. You can see riders frantically chasing behind. So that breakaway of 3 riders swept up, but it's now given way to another group just trying to clip off the front here. So Chris Bennett in Asheville, North Carolina, cheering on Lily Williams. So thanks for checking in. So can this move get off the front here? So again, the Amy D colours. Is this Maddie Ward again coming through towards the front? Has a little glance back over the shoulder. So a good move up that. So again, with three to go, could be the good time to go.
And especially with a large group like this, and with more or less all the teams represented. You know, Canyon are represented here. We've got B-Pink. We've got the Fearless Femme. USA national team, also Team 2020. So all the more or less all the teams are represented, and actually could go into the favour. The only thing is, with it being so big, will everyone cooperate? If some riders think, actually, I'm going to sit on the back and not do a turn and not come through to help with the progress of the breakaway, that's when things sort of start to go negative, and it goes into the advantage of the peloton. As you can see, just in the background there is a chase on the peloton. Looks like the team of Lux. Who are on the front of the peloton chasing.
So just a little question on YouTube. Storm Rider, which American rider is in the lead? We've mentioned her a few times today. Chloe Dygert is your race leader from the USA. Tiff Cromwell on the back of this leading group. Edward Patel is in there as well for Kogas. Getting Tiff Cromwell in there. That's a good move here from the Canyon SRAM rider.
Probably one of the smartest bike riders in the group as well. Tactically astute. Technically brilliant, and also got the speed to go with that.
So the rider on the back.
Erica Clevenger in here as well for Team 2020. But actually, everyone seems to be coming through, like what we were saying before, sort of creating a pace line, this throwing off style. Everyone's contributing to the work. And as we say that, this is what all it takes for a breakaway. As soon as one rider decides, actually, I'm not going to come through, this is when it kind of all starts to go a little bit pear-shaped, should we say, and actually the peloton start to make inroads to them. They need to keep it consistent and keep themselves rolling through, working hard together, and they can't just rest on the laurels. There's still a chase from the peloton.
So the Amy D rider that's in there is Maddie Ward, that's gone into this group.
For me, the teams that have got 2 riders in this group, so Fearless Femme and the Point Auto team, they should actually put both of their riders on the front, or at least one of their riders, and really start to push the pace and force the gap to open even further. Sacrifice one of the riders in each of each team.
Natalia Franco is the other rider that's in that group as well, from wearing number 156. It's Tiff Cromwell, as you said, the Australian rider who's in that group. Has got herself up there. The Australian. This is perfect. Again, the sort of Aussie criterium circuit. Again, this is a first sort of perfect circuit for her. Katia Ragusa is the B Pink rider.
Tiffany as well, she's so experienced. She's been a pro for many, many years. Stage winner of the Giro. She's won Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, stage of Turingen, Lotto Turingen Ladies Tour as well. So, and actually, the stage that she won into Lotto Turingen Ladies Tour, it was a right-hand turn. That it was a sprint from around 300 meters to go. So this way we've got the left-hand turn, and then it's the sprint into the finish. Slightly uphill, same as what she'd won in the Turingen Ladies Tour, so could suit her very, very well. Like you were saying before, Marty, actually could be one for her, and this brake's working well together now.
Yes,
Edwige Patel on the front for Kogias. You'll hear riders as well, like we just did, shouting up, saying, go, keep going, keep it rolling through. And I think it's nice to hear that motivation to say, come on, let's keep the breakaway rolling and let's try and stay away.
So it's like Caroline Manny on the front here as well. So he's got into this move. So apologies for picture breakup. So in the momentary picture freeze. So the Point S Auto Nokian team that are riding really well. These fluorescent yellow jerseys of the Point S team.
Rally UHC on the head of the peloton, chasing this one back to there. Big move what they've missed here. Looks like Abby Mickey is the rider on the front, chasing for Rally UHC in that blue jersey. As we said before, they're racing in blue jerseys throughout the Colorado Classic, not the standout orange that we're used to.
So just pressing on, Maddie Bemis. The rider just getting tailed off here is Brenna Rice-Simpson. She was actually the rider that went down in that crash, wasn't she, Brenna Rice-Simpson? 95, just trying to get back into that, maybe into that group, but just maybe suffering a little bit of the after effect of that tumble.
You see the rider in the breakaway just sort of go off the road there into the ditch, looking round over her shoulder and veers into the lay-by a little bit.
And again it comes back. We thought that group might just get maybe just too many riders in that group, and just comes back again. Frank, good question here from as we get that lull. Frederick Calborn over on YouTube. Calborn, isn't it odd, the composition of the breakaway with two from the same team? It's not. It happens it does happen a lot, doesn't it? It's not that riders are chasing each other. If you're on the wheel of your teammate, when your teammate attacks, it's a good time to just go for it.
I think it's very, very beneficial having a teammate in the breakaway, because your aim and your goal at the end of the day is both the same. You just want one of you to win, or to get something out of the race. So whether that be you want to go for a jersey of some sort. So actually, can be very, very beneficial having a teammate, and that you can trust them. That actually you'll make a decision. I want you to lead me out, and that's what they'll do. Or if one of them attacks, they're not going to chase from in the latter parts if they attack the breakaway. But no, not very odd at all. I think it's always nice as well, isn't it, having company that you know.
We're on the gravel. So this is stage one. This is the gravel section. If you were with us on day one, we had our hour-long Q&A with Danny Rowe, but this was the gravel section that we didn't see. So this was stage one. This was Chloe Dygert when she made her winning move on stage one. We kind of came on air at this point as we ran in towards the finish, but that was the gravel section. It was such a shame that we didn't get to see that one on that occasion, but hopefully the organisers be able to sort that one out for next year. But that was great to be able to see a little bit of what went on that gravel climb, because we really missed it. The tyre gaps, so we are 24.6 miles to go, 39.6 kilometres in towards the finish. Again, you can just see the relentless pace that we've had as Simpson gets back in. Respect to Brenna Rice-Simpson there, gets back in to the peloton. Another little move just going off the front here, as it looks like again Kogas colours, or is this
Looks again like Edwige Patel, actually.
It does, doesn't it? And Whitney Allison, I think, is the Hagens-Berman Supermint rider that's going off the front this time. That style elbows out. It is, and it is Edwige Patel, the French rider. So Whitney Allison there, and Edwige Patel. Again, what a rider. Can you imagine if Edwige gets a stage victory in this one? It would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? I mean, you've got to hold riders up all the time when you look at someone that, again, a lot of the time we talk about it, it's having the motivation to still be able to put in the kilometres you need to be, not just in this race, but competitive in this race at 52.
Yeah, and it's not even just the racing side, to continue the hard training that's needed to be able to compete at this high level. Been a professional rider for many years. 11 professional wins on the road. Had victories in Trophy d'Or, Limousin, all these big races. Some of them are actually not on the calendar anymore. Been national road race champion of France 2 times, and 3 times winner of the Chrono des Nations.
So guest on the attack now is Silvia Valsecchi, and is that Rebecca Wysack that's with her? So that's a dangerous move, Valsecchi and Wysack. So Valsecchi from B Pink, Wysack winner of the opening stage last year. So Rebecca Wysack, the Aussie, on the attack. It's the first time we've seen Wysack so far. Interesting
for me, actually. I think this finish could suit her. So interesting to see her out in front. Been throughout the whole race, actually. Her teammates from Fearless Femme, who were the ones attacking and in the breakaways, she's sensed a move. But for me, I think, for Wysack being definitely one to watch for the sprint today, very unusual to see her out front.
It is, but Silvia Valsecchi from B Pink. Again, B Pink, they've had a few little attacks in this one. Tatiana Gudurzo is the team leader, really, for B Pink. But Silvia Valsecchi, they're just showing us Chloe Dygert in the group. The yellow jersey looking just so cool and so calm as she is. And just alongside her, Lawrence Stevens wearing 42. So Chloe Dygert, 7 times a world champion, and going into Olympic year next year. It's Silvia Valsecchi from B Pink, 37 years old. She is now. Took a 3rd in the mixed relay in the European Championships this year. Again, as a rider, sort of results that date back, Tour de Bretagne stage win in 2016, Tour of the Ardèche, a stage win in there in 2017. In the Tour of the Ardèche, when we look at the stages that we've had here, the mountain that we had yesterday, the mountain stages that we're having now and getting to see in races, Tour of California on Mount Baldy, the Giro, Rosa, those sort of races. The Tour of the Ardèche is traditionally a race. I think you've done it a few times. That's a tough race, isn't it? To take a stage win in.
It's definitely one for the climbers, and a lot of people do it in preparation for the World Championships, and it's 7-day long stage race. And like you say, it's very, very hard, in any race to take a victory, but especially in Ardèche, it's always no one team is able to control the race, and makes it very, very difficult to get a result, whether it even be a podium there. These two working very, very well together, sharing the workload in this breakaway. 25 seconds they've opened up, so I think that's the biggest lead we've seen so far throughout this attacking stage.
So there is Rebecca Wysack, the Aussie, now with Fearless Femme, and twice a world champion in the individual pursuits on the track. She's a multiple national champion as well. She's the current national criterium champion of Australia as well. And again, like the US criterium champion and the Aussie criterium championship as well, that is a hard fought race. We know the Aussie Criterium Championship. So again, on this sort of circuit, definitely suits her abilities. And winner of the opening stage of the Colorado Classic last year. and Fearless Femme have really put on a show. They've definitely been the team, the most aggressive team. I think they got up there. Swap It, Ajolico, again a bit up there. Hagensberm and Supermint. I think that, looking at these teams and the way they've ridden this stage, it's just been attack after attack after attack after attack.
And it's actually been difficult for the peloton to even just, sort of take a breather, take some, have a time to, take some food on board or have a drink, or it's just been constantly on. And we only saw, one moment where momentarily the peloton eased up a little bit, and then next minute, it was the Swap It team who thought, nope, not happy with this, want to get in the breakaway again, and so they did. But Weizak now just speaking into a radio.
So you can see again, there's with two riders of this experience as well, you can just see straight away, straight in, straight into the work, sharing the work equally, and that's exactly what you need to do. Now the pressure goes off the peloton, and that's what it just plays into the hands of these two riders. So for Chloe Dygert, this scenario is what she wants. She's had two stages. She's in the yellow jersey. She's leading this race. She's got a comfortable margin of a minute and 22 seconds over the chasers, and they're no threat to her jersey.
No, I mean, Weizak's at 19 minutes 56 and Valseki's at 21 minutes 25 on general classification. So Dygert actually very, very happy to let these two riders to get away, and you can see the peloton are quite happy with it too. There's no team are chasing. They've almost sat up, and although the gap's remaining at 25 seconds, the pair are actually working very, very well together. When there's a duo, there's nowhere to hide, and no one can sort of like take soft turns or soft tap through when they go sort of through and off.
ALP on the attack. Aisha McGowan here, and again you just see these the team going on the attack together again. But Hannah, this is kind of the scenario that we've seen throughout the stage. You see the two riders here from ALP going on the attack. They're being neutralised by Show Air 2020, and again, it just drags everything out again. They're not getting that jump, getting that acceleration as McGowan sits up, and that's what they need to do. Again, they're trying to get into the breakaway as teammates. That's fair enough, but you've really got to hit. When you hit it, you've got to really, really hit it, haven't you? Open the gas and really get off the front. And what she's not being able to do so far from ALP is just get any sort of gap.
I think we've seen them attack sort of from first wheel. And, they, like you say, they really need to come from, further back, maybe 8th, 9th wheel, and really come with a lot of speed. And so when they hit past that front rider, they're coming past with so much speed that no one can react, and actually it's hard for them to bring them back and actually think, okay, it's only one rider, we'll let that one get across. And if she was to be able to get across to this leading duo of Weizak and Valsecki, that'd be the perfect situation. But at the minute, the way that ALP Cycles Racing are attacking it as a pair, it's not really working for them. We saw that earlier, it didn't work for them, and they tried it again, it's not working. It actually just means that they're just dragging the peloton along with them.
And again, as a team, they're one of the smaller domestic teams in this race, and they don't have to do this. There's other teams, there's teams in there. You want to try. It's like going up against, you're going up against your Canyon SRAMs, your Show Air 2020s. These teams, you've got to try and look at it. And I know sometimes you get really, really excited, and you're in this, and you're racing against some of the best riders in the world. It's learning how to ride intelligently, isn't it? Because a stage race and a bike race, it's not always the strongest rider that wins, and that's what some people don't realise. It's the cleverest, most intelligent rider who can get to the finish using the least amount of energy possible, which is why you see the way Chloe Dygert is riding. She sits in that bunch, super comfortable. When riders look round for her to come through to the front, she's like, nah. And
she's so in control. She's, not afraid to say, no, I'm not coming through. When she was sitting second wheel before and there was a breakaway and the rider looked through to tell her to come through, she literally shook her head and was like, nope, not coming through. And I think it's having that confidence and of yourself and your team to be able to do that. Great that ALP Cycles Racing are trying to sort of get involved, but actually I think, like you say, they've only got 3 riders left in the race. Rachel Plessing is the other rider, and Roveldvelder along with McGowan.
When
When you've got such a small team, it's not really your job per se.
Well, when you look at the attacks as well, when you look at these roads, as you said, you want to come from further down that group. You want to use these roads. You know, you've got such width in these roads. If you hit the group from further down and cut across to the far side of the road, and that's where you carry that speed, carry that acceleration. So by the time you hit the front, you're already going at warp speed. You're already going at 10, 15 k's an hour quicker than the peloton, and that's what helps you get your gap.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just about being clever and just experience as well. Maybe someone's actually never told them how to attack or how's the best way to do it. It's just about learning and experiencing, sort of learning from what didn't work and trying a new thing. But definitely attack from further back and sort of gain the speed before you go, and preferably, we've seen Marianne Vos do it, but that's fast. Attack from first wheel. But generally it doesn't pay off and it doesn't work.
So you can see 45 seconds there giving us now is our time gap. This is a decent gap now for Rebecca Wysack and Sylvia Valsecchi. Fearless Femme and B Pink are on the attack. $2 asking over on YouTube as the peloton come through. Are these riders and teams American? Or are they plenty of Europeans and other teams? Are racing you seem less attractive to Europeans? Brodie Chapman now goes through, looking on the attack now. So the rider that sits second overall is looking for a bonus sprint. So good move here by Brodie Chapman of Tibco Silicon Valley. Just wants that bonus second, 2 laps to go. She's not going to persist with that one. You can just see Chloe Dygert just sat up there, just looking over the top, just to see if Brodie Chapman was going to go.
And talking about the smartest and most intelligent bike rider, you just saw Chloe Dygert there, literally freewheel across the finish line. So she's not turning the pedals when she doesn't have to. She's just saving as much energy as possible. And you always say in cycling that you start with this sugar lump, and every attack and every effort that you make, you're just chipping away at that sugar lump, and when you want to get to the finish line with as much of your sugar lump left as possible.
I like Katie Archibald's Olympic champion as well. She uses a tin of beans. It's if you've got a tin of beans, every attack that you make, you use a bean. There's your sprint result. Rebecca Wysack, Sylvia Valsecchi, Brodie Chapman. I've never heard the sugar lump one. I love that. I'm gonna store that one. So GCN Racing viewers will be like, next time I use the sugar lump, you'll be like, you're stealing Hannah Walker's stuff. So,
you can have it for free.
Yeah. Just to come back to the teams, we've got a mix. We've got a lot of domestic US teams here. We've got some international teams, Canyon SRAM, as you would expect them to be there. B Pink are also here as well. And the thing is, we've got the Ladies Tour of Norway at the moment, and some I'm sure you might agree with me, Hannah, that at the moment the way the women's teams are structured, they don't have the strength in numbers, bar sort of Canyon SRAM. Tibco Silicon Valley, they've had 4 riders and brought 2 stagiaires in for Tour of Norway. But it's that strength in numbers and logistically to be able to run a double program. But we've got Katie Hall now going on the attack in that blue jersey for the US national team.
I think it's also having staff and enough staff to be able to field a double program. So it's not even just the riders. You need to make sure you've got soigneurs, sports director, mechanic, and someone obviously having to plan all the logistics of it, and also budget as well. It's been a very busy program last weekend. You had Vårgårda in Sweden, then this weekend Ladies Tour of Norway, and then next week you've got Plouay, another World Tour race, and then the 2 days after Plouay you've got World's Ladies Tour. So teams just pick their race program to what suits their team and their riders as well.
So a few of you just checking in and asking who's alongside me. Hannah Walker, if you've been around races over the years, host broadcast, does a lot of host broadcast commentating. I think a few of you as well talking about the host broadcast of Tour of Norway. A lot of you asking about Emma Pooley. It's Emma Johansson, if you heard the host broadcast of the Tour of Norway. It's good to hear Emma Johansson in there as well. Anyone asking if Emma Pooley's racing? No, Emma's retired now from racing. But yes, Hannah Walker alongside me, ex-pro rider, and now commentator and pundit, and doing a great job of it. So that's who is alongside me. Our breakaway group 30 seconds, a few attacks behind, just eating into that advantage. Can they come round with a lap to go? I'd say if we can push this up 45 seconds to a minute coming around to final lap, looking at this, the climb up of Washington, there's through that line, I'd say these two riders would need a buffer of, say, a minute. But on the final lap, Wiseack with the track backgrounds of Pursuiter, if she can get in with a minute, then it's just open it, full gas up that climb for the final lap. If anyone can do it, she can.
Yeah, definitely. But looking at the way the peloton now, they were sort of under a bit of chase before, but now actually, the speed has gone right down in comparison. When you compare it to how fast the breakaway duo are going, everyone's just taking the time to have a drink, take some food on board. Meanwhile, these two, carry on pursuing the breakaway. It says 30 seconds, but I'm not sure if it's actually gone a little bit further over the time gap to the breakaway. But you can just see those little blue tape on a stem. That's got all the information of the stage, so when the intermediate sprints are, and what distance they're at, and sort of what anything important that she might want to know. Also the QOM as well. So she's got the 3 sprints, the QOM, and then obviously where the finish is. So she'll be able to compare that to her Wahoo and get all the right information.
So now the riders are seeing that this group is just starting to get a little bit too established, but these attacks, every time this attack goes and the pressure goes off, this will play into the hands of our breakaway group. There's a nice shot of Silvia Valsecchi's name on that Rosa bike. Again, she's got her information on her handlebars. It's a very individual thing as well. It's a very personal thing. Some riders, I as a director sportive, we used to draw them out for the riders, and then you'd have a rider that just some riders were happy with the one you wrote, all the QOMs and sprints and everything, and then some riders just want to do it themselves.
Even so, some riders don't even want anything at all.
Lindsay Goldman coming back through to the front on the attack. So if you were wondering how if she had recovered, is that Lindsay coming up towards the front for Hagens Berman? So another few attacks. You can just see Flavia Oliveira just defending here for Rebecca Wiseack, just running a little bit of interference, as I call it, just to kind of slow things down a little bit.
Perfect teamwork.
Yeah, perfect. 25.1 to go, 40 seconds. So this gap's going out, as we said, maybe 45, maybe up to a minute is the gap that these riders would want with one lap to go. Marco van der Hout, just greetings from the Netherlands. Thanks for saying hi over on Facebook. Andrea, is it Andrea Kuritsky or Andrea Kuritsky? Apologies. Just checking in from Syracuse in New York. Quick question. We saw yesterday a neutral service mechanic having trouble changing a front wheel with a through axle. Any changes coming down the line as far as training for these techs? I think, again, it's as a neutral service, it's always going to be difficult, isn't it, moving forward with some of the new tech, the through axles, the disc brakes, that kind of thing. We've seen, the footage of the Koenig Quickstep mechanic earlier on in the year with power tools. That's coming to get the through axles undone quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I think it does become a lot harder for neutral. Obviously, I know on our team at WNT Rotor, everyone's on disc brakes. Everyone has the same thing. So for the mechanic, all he needs is a 6mm Allen key, and that's it. But like I say, some have like quick release axles on disc brakes. Then you might have, what you don't want is a team to be half-half. Some riders are on disc, some are on rim. It does become a little bit of a nightmare for the neutral service. And actually for a rider, if you do have a problem and your team isn't there, it's a bit of a nightmare because you can't get serviced, or you might not have the right thing, or the right disc, so you do rely on your team a lot more. Yeah,
we were talking yesterday about 650cc wheels. Now you're involved with a pretty high level pro team. Is there ever any discussion of shorter riders that want to come in and want to use 650 wheels? Is that always just a complete no-no?
I don't think it's ever been discussed, actually. I think everyone's just on the same wheel size. I think most of it just comes down to sort of what length crank you want, what width tyre you want, and what gear ratio setup you want. So that's kind of the talk on that, and obviously everything else can be customized to you, whether you want how wide you want your bars or how obviously length of stem. That's just sort of standard practice. But I think wheel size always the standard. I think.
Yeah, as a few of you asking what Silvia Valsecchi has sticking out of her pocket, and Jojo Adeyemi pointed out, yes, it's a used gel wrapper that she's got sticking out of her jersey at the moment, giving away about 10 watts, I think. Oh no, it was a half-used gel. Or energy bar that she had sticking out of her pocket.
Good to see her putting it back in her jersey though.
Yes, definitely. And Jojo's saying the aero guys losing their minds over that sticking out of your pocket. Well, Warren Barguil, the Arctic racer Norway, went into the final climb with a gilet sticking out of his pocket. And he lost the race by 1 second. I'm sure the anyone aero
would have been freaking.
I was freaking out on that one properly. I was having a proper meltdown when I saw that one, honestly. Our two leaders, can they hang on towards the finish? 22.9 kilometres to go, 40 seconds for Silvia Valsecchi and Rebecca Wysack, B Pink and Fearless Femme. The two teams, they're ahead of the race. It's been an absolutely frantic stage from the gun today. Nothing really, gaps, breaks going and coming back all the time. And it was this move by these two riders coming into the final few laps of this one that has finally managed to get established here. The Swap It team going on the attack again. So the national, I think, national champions stripes on the cuffs of the jersey. So just making that move, trying to find something to maybe try and get back up to these riders. And yeah, also the antenna sticking out of Rebecca Wysack's pocket, that'll be her race radio generally. It's a fairly hefty antenna.
It is, isn't it? Big radio to take around. But for these teams who aren't always using race radios, they're not going to have the small little ones that the bigger teams, the likes of Canyon SRAM and B Pink and even Show Air 2020 might have. When you're using it more often, you're going to have sort of the better ones and sort of make use of them. But
looks like a looks like a 1986 mobile phone, that one, doesn't it? With the antenna sticking out of her pocket. And again, up towards the front, Lindsay Goldman. If you're wondering how she was after taking a tumble earlier on, now she's dragging this one back. So Higgins, Berman, Supermints will go round to the finish, and we will get 1 lap to go. So we will get the bell when we come round towards the finish. This time, can these two riders hang on towards the finish? Rebecca Wysack, winner of the opening stage last year, as we said. Can she take stage 3 here in Golden? If you're just happening across our coverage today, welcome to GCN Racing. If you're here for the first time as well, stage 3 of the Colorado Classic presented by the VF Corporation, 102.5 kilometers. The length of the stage, 7 laps of this 14.6 kilometer circuit. It's been a tough day for the riders. Your GC, Chloe Dygert leading Brodie Chapman by 122 going into the stage. She's closed that now to 120 from memory after taking 2 bonus seconds. Oma Shapira in third at 133 for Canyon SRAM. So going in, there's your race leader, Chloe Dygert, wearing number 71 from Show Air 2020. And we were saying a little bit earlier on, we were having a chat, she's she's one of the most exciting riders in the world, I would say, at the moment. Chloe Dygert, the way she can, again, sometimes I don't think, it's difficult to see how tough it is sometimes to jump from roads to track. And when riders like Chloe, they just do it again with sort of consummate ease. Yeah,
and I think, it's, you actually forget the background work that you do as an athlete, the training and all that, the hours you put in. And she hasn't had it all easy. She might be 7-time world champion and Olympic silver medalist and numerous other titles to her name. But she has had a fair share of injuries recently, and it's great to see her sort of recover from those and come back strongly and take the 2 victories yesterday and the day before on stage 1 of the Colorado Classic. But with her big aim going into the World Championships in Yorkshire, just over a month away. It's been known that she wants to win that time trial title, and going into Olympic year next year, she wants that gold medal. And it's I read on socials yesterday that she's aiming to go for the next 6 Olympic cycles. She wants to go to the next 6 Olympic Games, which I think is absolutely incredible as a 22-year-old to set your aims and your sights so high. And she's such a determined athlete. I remember speaking to her at Tour of California that she's just, you can tell it in the way she speaks and the way she speaks about races and what she wants to achieve and what her goals are in her career. Phenomenal athlete.
Definitely.
I think she's been with Showair 2020 since she was 16 years old as well. So she's got good support network from Nicola Cranmer, the team manager, and all the staff around her. So certainly, obviously, we're watching her now, and we've been watching her for the past few years sort of dominate. But definitely want to see how she progresses over the next few years. I think it's going to be incredible.
Definitely. Hagen's Berman Superman on the front. B Pink are the team defending. Al Sher, I hope I've said that right. I'm getting told off for and my accent gives SRAM an H in it.
SRAM.
That's my Hampshire
SRAM.
London accent. That one. Apologies
I don't know if
for
it's
that.
a British thing actually. SRAM.
It is. We
SRAM.
kind of Europe. It's kind of
SRAM.
been Europe-fied, isn't it? Because we kind of say SRAM here, but it's I can't really say it without the. It's my accent. Sorry, Al. I will do my best to drop the H. Yeah, we do say Dick Martino saying we do say SRAM over here, and it's not like a bit like scram. So thanks Dick there for. I do try. We do try with our pronunciations. Yeah, sometimes it's that England thing, But apologies. Thanks again. Big love out to you all for all your chat, your questions. It's great to see. As I was saying yesterday, we had such a great community feel on Facebook, on GCN Racing on Facebook, and I know now that we're sort of moving to double platforms with Facebook and our YouTube channels, which is great. You can watch on both as we go through the rest of the season and into cyclocross this winter. We just had great chat, great banter, and I like that, and I see you getting such great chat going amongst yourselves as well, which is great to see. So thanks for all your questions and all your input as well. It's really good. I think this at the moment, 55 seconds. It's looking good for Wyzak and Valsecchi here in Golden. It's being left to Hagens Berman Supermint to do the chase. No one else really getting involved. B Pink, they're defending for Valsecchi. They'll be confident that Valsecchi can take this one. Tony Oswald just pointing out Emma Pooley was in the lead of the Further Journal Ultra Adventure Road Race earlier today. Go Emma, yeah, go Emma. She's again Emma Pooley. She's doing all these events and things as well, and good move for that one. So I think you can dot watch that one. I think if Tony puts up on the Facebook thing as well, you can do the dot watching on that one as well, which is always interesting on those sort of races. Chloe Dygert just moving up. You can see in that yellow jersey. Katie Hall in that blue Audi inspirational jersey, not far away from her. Here's your leaders. A gap. You can see the camera here just sort of foreshortens it a little bit. You can generally see on a long straight road like this about a minute up the road. So again, on these long straight roads like this, it's sort of, they sometimes look closer than they are as well, don't they? As they come into the belt this time, it might just give riders, because they can see them, that again, I can jump across to that in one effort.
I think it plays to a disadvantage to the breakaway though, because when the peloton can see them, they've got something to chase. They've got the breakaway in sight, and it gives them that extra motivation. Whereas, I think a lot of the time, especially in European racing, for instance, where there's a lot of turns, left, right. When you're out of sight, you're out of mind, and kind of you think that although it's 50 seconds, you think actually the breakaway is further away than we think because we can't see them. Whereas on these long straights, definitely plays to the advantage of the peloton.
Definitely. And so Trad Biner's asking us if we're drinking red or white. We're not either. That would be, that's only on our preview shows on that one. this group. 50 seconds. Can they hang on? They're looking good. Now we're starting to see Rally come through. So Rally UHC, Emma White could be the sprinter for Rally UHC again, as the gap just yo-yos and hovers around that advantage. They could just start to maybe work this for the sprint for Rally UHC. If it's a closable gap over 40 seconds, I was thinking 45 to a minute that they would need to hold this one to the line. Wyzak on the front here on the Parley bike for Fearless Femme. Again, just knocking out that tempo. Valsecchi right behind her. Now we're starting to see a few more teams as we come in towards the bell lap this time, just starting to get involved. So Show 2020, Jennifer Valenti was my tip before the stage, and I threw that one at Meredith Miller over in the US. She's on the US coverage with Brad Sona, and she said that's a good bet for today's stage. So Jennifer Valenti, could she take the stage today? Emma White as well for that one. So Emma White potentially, but they've got to bring these two back. In terms of breakaways now, when you're in this position, you get to the point as well, you're going through and off, and we see it quite a lot recently. It's about, again, trying to trick the peloton, in essence, isn't it? That if you just, again, chat to each other and just throttle it again, just try big effort and just try and get another 10, 15 seconds. I've seen it quite a lot, and it's how you can, you see a lot now in terms of breakaways, especially, you know, where gaps come down to like a minute, that kind of thing, onto 30 seconds. They just open the throttle again, trick the peloton, and before the peloton notice, because they're just sitting through and off, it's 2 against 1 at the moment, because we've got one rider for Hagen's Berman Supermint. But if, again, just that little launch, just make one last big effort, get the gap up to a minute if you can, and then see what you, and then hang on. That just gives you that extra little buffer.
I think as well, as you can just see and just notice before, as soon as Hagen's Berman Supermint sort of went off the front, actually no other team came through to sort of help with the chase. You've got a rider from BP sat on the wheel of the rider from Hagen's Berman Supermint, and obviously they're not going to come through. They've got a teammate in the breakaway, so it just disrupts the chase of the peloton. Although Show 2020 are up there, they're not really helping so much with the chase. Actually, they're not sort of hammering it, and it is doable that they can catch this breakaway. It's only 40 seconds and they've got 15 kilometres to go, but all the teams are leaving it up to the mint green and the blue and black team of Hagen's Berman Supermint.
Just to answer a couple of questions as well. The kilometres to go and miles to go, if you look in the top left-hand corner of your screen, it flicks between kilometres and miles, because cycling traditionally is in kilometres in Europe, and in the US, a bit like the Brits here, but as cyclists we end up working in kilometres. But it flicks between the two. So 15.4 kilometres go, 9.4 miles is the distance to the finish, but it just jumps between the two of those. Then you've got your time gap. It's down to 20 seconds though now. These riders have got the gap, and it's 1.6 is the conversion from miles to kilometers. Swap it. Ajolico again moving through towards the front. So, Andrea Ramirez, national champion of Costa Rica. I think is the rider in that white jersey that we can see close to the front. I think she's national champion. I'll double check that one. So Andrea Ramirez, my apologies, national champion of Mexico. Get my countries mixed up, I'm really sorry. For that one, in the individual time trial, third in the road race in that one, which is Annette Barrera. So Annette Barrera is the national champion of Mexico. 1 lap to go this time, 1 to go. So they're in sight. Here they come. As we said, they needed a bigger advantage than that, and it's Brodie Chapman. And here she comes, the yellow jersey. Chloe Dygert goes down the right. Brodie Chapman goes up the left. So Chloe Dygert, we haven't seen her at all today. Now goes on the attack. Brodie Chapman trying to come across to that one. The Queen of the Mountains point that we've got there as well. She wanted to make sure that she swept up the maximum Queen of the Mountains points over the top of that one. Is she going to go? She is. Chloe Dygert went for the Queen of the Mountains point there through the bell at the top of that one. They wouldn't have been expecting her to go, but now she has a little look back over the shoulder, the winner of 2 stages. So here we go. There's our 2 leaders. Dygert goes up the right. Chapman tries to go up the left here for the Queen of the Mountains. Is she going to go for this one? Again, can she make it 3 from 3? She is just on absolutely exceptional form, is Chloe Dygert from Show Air 2020, and she is. Look at this. The rider in the yellow jersey, and you can see chasers trying to come across. There will be alarm bells galore ringing out in that peloton behind. It looks like Edwig Patel that's trying to come across the gap. But Chloe Dygert, Owen, on the offensive, has a little look back over the shoulder again. What a rider. She went to try and get, she wants to make sure that she's got the Queen of the Mountains classification, takes maximum points on that one, and the gap is opening. The final lap here in Golden, and Chloe Dygert so far in the Colorado Classic. Aisha McGowan on the back here, just clinging to the coattails of the peloton. It has been an absolute masterclass again from Chloe Dygert in this race so far. Can she take a hat-trick of victories?
I'm sat here shaking my head, Marty. I'm absolutely... She makes it look so seamless and effortless. The way she just gets out of her saddle, she's so at one with her bike. It doesn't make it look difficult. She's just incredible effort, and the power is just kind of... She's not wasting any power in her upper body, sort of moving herself around. All the power's going straight through her legs, into the pedals, propelling the bike forward, and you know, she's going to TT mode now, time trial mode, and you see the splits that she's caused in this peloton. Everyone's frantically chasing, but it's just causing so many splits that no one can hang on.
No.
It's absolutely incredible.
Look at this, that group behind just splitting under the pressure of Chloe Dygert, and that's what happens on a stage like this. It has been a pace. It has been frenetic from the start. And again, we were saying a little bit earlier on, you win a stage race by using your energy when you need it the most. She knows that she can make an effort like this over this length of time. She sat there in the peloton. She wants that Queen of the Mountains jersey. She leads in that classification with 17 points in that one. She leads in the sprints classification. She leads in the best young rider. She's winning the race overall.
I think she just wants to go away and win everything. I mean, I've heard a team manager say she wants to win everything. She doesn't want to just, you know, go and win one jersey. She wants to go and win everything that's possible. She wants to be the best rider in the world. You know, she doesn't just want to win one Olympic medal. She wants to win as many as possible. She wants to, you know, win an Olympic medal at every Olympics that she goes to, and it's just, you know, brilliant to have such ambition. And you know, she's a very, very smart bike rider to go with it. As we were saying before, she sits in the peloton towards the front, you know, patrolling everything that she needs to, but she's never putting a nose in the wind. When she doesn't need to pedal, she's sort of just freewheeling and using the aerodynamics of the peloton just to suck her along, just saving energy at every possible moment, and saving it for moments like this where she's able to attack straight after the finish line and into that QOM and carry on her effort.
And when you're trying to organise a chase against a rider like this, it has got to be a concerted chase, hasn't it? That's the group behind. And Chloe Dygert, we finally got to see the gravel climb. We saw where she went away on that one, went over the top of that gravel climb yesterday, did everything right. Brodie Chapman, again, she threw the kitchen sink of tactics at that one yesterday on that climb, Brodie Chapman. But as they got towards the top, Chloe Dygert over the top showed her masterful descending. It was an absolutely beautiful descent that she put in yesterday. And yeah, and again today, just that little move. And it's, for everyone else, it's watching, it's being vigilant. You know that she's going to go. You know that she's going to try it. And you can see
it's
now.
It's just when.
Yeah. And it's for me, it's down to the, you know, if the teams want to take this stage, For Show Air 2020, they know if Chloe Dygert gets brought back, Jennifer Valente could win the stage. Rally UHC, if they want to take the stage with Emma White, they've got to be on the front. Canyon SRAM, Tiff Cromwell potentially. Tiff could take a flyer into those final corners. She can hold a good sprint. The Aussie, those are the teams. If we go back to the front of the peloton, we get a front shot there. Those are the teams that we would be expecting to be working.
And Dygart's opened up a lead now of 30 seconds with only 10 kilometres to go. Teams, it's now or never. If they want to bring Chloe back, because she's not holding the gap, she's opening the gap, further and further. If they want to bring her back, they need to start working now, and even, coerce with each other, talk to each other, and say, let's put 1 or 2 riders on the front each, and let's try and bring her back. Rally, have a chat to Canyon SRAM and say, if you want to go for the stage, should we put some riders at the front? And it's about the consistency of the chase. You can't chase for 1K full gas and think that you're going to catch Chloe Dygert or any breakaway. It needs to be a consistent chase, and at a high pace. You can't just go and chase the breakaway full gas, and then actually you actually run out of gas, and the breakaway ends up gaining more time. It needs to be at the right tempo, at the right pace. You only
have one grain of sugar left
exactly.
At the end of that one, to give Hannah's sugar lump reference. Behind, they're just throwing cans of beans out of the can at the moment, trying to chase Chloe Dygert, who's just looking absolutely phenomenal out in the front. And I think for us, I'll say from our point of view as commentators as well, and as I said, over the course of this race, getting to see someone like Chloe Dygert, who we don't get to see on the road in Europe at the moment. She rides on the track, and I know her from the track. I know her from the career that she's had on the track. I was lucky enough to be at the commentating, trying to get the crowd going at the World Championships in 2016 when they took that one, and getting to see someone like this in this environment. That's why I love what we're able to do here on GCN Racing. We've had the Ladies Tour of Norway today, now with Colorado Classic. All these names who we will start to see again. It might be Aisha McGowan, hopefully, from that team, or the other riders, Clara Honsinger from Lux. All these riders that we might start to see on the world stages as it grows over the next few years. But getting to see Chloe Dygert like this, I think there'll be a few riders in the world peloton that are looking at this going, yikes.
I think
we're waiting for this one.
Definitely. And going into the World Championships in Yorkshire at the end of September, riders who either are at this race or even aren't at this race, so they're just watching from home, they'll be looking at her, seeing what kind of form she's in. She can climb, she's able to time trial away. I definitely think she's one of the favourites for the individual time trial title in Yorkshire, but even, don't put her out of contention for the road race the way she's going so far. It's just incredible form, and to come in at the right time as well, and to peak at the right time.
We go back through her career. So 2015, double world champion as a junior road champion, junior time trial champion. Took that ahead of Emma White. When you look down the top 10 in that one, Agnieszka Stalniak, Yumi Kalihara, but Suzanne Anderson, rider that we're seeing a lot now, Elise Balsamo, Grace Garner, if you were with us for the Giro Rosa here on GCN Racing, Grace Garner was 7th, Yara Castelline, Jessica Pratt and Ida Janssen. That was a top 10 when Chloe Dygert took the junior road title. So she took that one after, then went on 2016 world champion in the team pursuit, took a stage in the Tour of California. There we have it. The GC leaders there is on your screen. 122 is the gap going into today's stage. Omar Shapira, Ella Harris and Krista Dobell-Hickok. That's the way it runs out. 2017, she moved on. She took 2016 as well. Silver medal in Rio in the team pursuits in that one. World Championship team pursuit. She's been individual pursuit champion on the track as well. So multiple world champions. She took it in 2018 as well. And then this year, a little switch to the road, which is a good thing for this year. And then back into the track program, I imagine, into the winter, into Tokyo next year. And it's absolutely phenomenal. She's just looking back here, isn't she? 30 seconds is the time gap that we're being given. We're not seeing the front of the peloton at the moment. The camera is at the back. which just happen from time to time. We want to see what's going on the towards the front of the bunch here. There she is, just ahead of her. So that chase behind, who is going to organise this one?
Camera angle either definitely foreshortens the gaps. I'm not sure it's 30 seconds anymore though.
So the peloton have got her in sight for Show Air 2020. As we said, Jennifer Valenti is a rider that could get up there in that one. So the gap behind, again, you can just see it's not quite organised. This camera angle here, it does make it look a lot closer sometimes than it is. But the way she is riding in this one, she's just taking these little glances over the shoulder, and it looks like Canyon SRAM. Try and get the pronunciation right. Canyon SRAM on the front of this to try and pull this one back. So 13 seconds. Hannah's got a stopwatch on for us to put the time gaps in. So the time gap in the top left-hand corner of your picture says 30 seconds. Hannah's just got the stopwatch on, just checking what the times are. But it's about 13 seconds. We'll put it on again, and she is tiring. You can see 2 days on the offensive like this one, and she's just, it's a tell, isn't it, when you start looking over your shoulder so much and they're just starting to come into sight. And
especially when you see, you know, a head drop, she's not kind of in that focused, strong, you know, upper body state that she was before. She kind of keeps dropping her head, looking down, then she's looking up, and definitely tiring, and, you know, kind of, you know, made her effort actually just a few kilometres too early.
She had to go, though.
As we were saying before, you know, Show Air 2020 are in a very, very strong position, though, because they have got Jennifer Valenti, her teammate, in that peloton, who's been able to just sit there, let everyone else do the work in chasing Chloe Dygert, and she'll come into this sprint very, very fresh. Although, what we were saying before as well is a breakaway. When a peloton thinks they're going to catch the breakaway rider, could it be that everyone actually sits up and thinks, yeah, we're nearly caught her, and then, you know, we can stop the chase, and actually Chloe Dygert can increase her gap again.
I think it's Tiff Cromwell on the front. Dygert's having a little look around here. We'll put the clock on again just to check what the gap is going up that climb, and the chase behind, with two riders on the front. And we're seeing the green jersey of Ella Harris, who I think is towards the front of this one, the VF Corporation Best Young Rider. Looking at Canyon SRAM, who would you think? Who would you be going for in this one? Maybe because it looks like Tiff Cromwell that's leading out here.
For me, I think they'll be going for Tanja Erath, the German rider. She's actually a doctor, surgeon, so interesting background for her. Came through on the Zwift Academy. Been riding. It's her second year now with Canyon SRAM. But I think, you know, what we saw before, where Tiff was leading her into that intermediate sprint before, I think that'll be the rider they're racing for today.
She's still going. Chloe Dygert out in front. They've got to do the work to try and catch her back. Great crowds out here in Golden as the yellow jersey just accelerates, as Hannah said, just when they think they're starting to get her back. As again, if it's one against one, it's one rider in the lead against one rider on the front of the peloton. It's a fairly even match there. If you've got 3 or 4 or 5 riders going through and off on the front of the bunch, and Dygert just opens the gap again on that descent. They really need to get it organised. With that one rider just doing the effort. Can she hang on? So 3.1 miles to go, 5 kilometres in length, 10 seconds they're saying is the gap. We'll put a clock on again on the corner as Chloe Dygert looking for her 3rd stage victory in a row here in the Colorado Classic.
It's almost like she's got a bit of a second wind, actually. She looks to be kind of back in the game and back focused. The gap's around 12 seconds again, so it's gone out from what it was 7 seconds. It's gone up to 12. Looks like she's got another bit of firepower.
And tip coach Silicon Valley Bank, so Lauren Stevens, so could be again a rider that they could lead out in this one. Some little moves now going off the front as Chloe just bounces across the railway lines there. So just back Abby Mickey just going down the line here, wearing number 12 for Rally UHC. So Dygert searching for seconds. Can she hang on this one? Riders making their way across the railway lines there as well. So again, they're just trying to get this one organised. Harris in that green jersey has come through it. It's going to take a big turn from a rider to try and close this one back. Diger, hands on the brake lever hoods, shifts down onto the drops.
You can just tell she can't get herself comfortable. She's on the drops and then she's on the tops, and she keeps looking down, trying to get as aero as possible, but just can't find a comfy position for her to stay in. It's always a telling sign that, you know, a rider is tiring and sort of losing the leg, should we say.
But again, you see the pressure just goes off the front of the peloton every time that happens. So we had Canyon SRAM with Ella Harris, and Tib Coates Silicon Valley Bank were on the front. But again, they just swung off, and it just hands it back to Chloe Diger. And again, you just see that gap goes out again. The chase behind, they really have to get organised, or the stage will go for the third day in a row to Chloe Diger in that yellow jersey. And there's nothing better, is there, than watching a yellow jersey winning a race by going on the attack like this.
This is just incredible, and such confidence from the 22-year-old American. And yeah, I think, you know, she's not waiting for anyone to make the move. She's the one making the moves and going for the winning victory. I think you know, it's incredible to see her show it off like this, and you know, represent her. You know, what a way to be able to win a race in the yellow jersey as well, like she did yesterday. If she can do it for the third day in a row, be an absolute incredible feat.
Inside 3 kilometers to go, 2.7, 1.6 miles. This now is a track effort. This is an individual pursuit effort now by Chloe Diger. This is where that track training comes into effect, when you can just dig deeper than everyone else. It's when on the track in the team pursuit, the individual pursuit, when you're seeing stars and you still have to raise your effort to try and take those world titles and those Olympic titles that she's won. And she looks like on these descents she's starting to get her second win. She just starts to believe that she can hang on. She'll be looking for that flamme rouge across the road, the welcome sign that she's just 1 kilometer to go from the finish. And that the peloton behind, there's the 2K to go board as she goes through there, hands on the drop. She just started to look like she's starting to get comfortable in this move, but you can see just how hard she's having to work in this effort. There she is, just ahead of the peloton. And again, this is the point where they all start to look around at each other again. This
is the crucial moment when the peloton and teams who want to take a stage victory here on stage 3, this is their last chance. You know, really get yourselves organised, get all your riders to the front, start this lead out, because, you know, before you know it'll be too late. You start to get a little bit technical as you take that left-hander, and then you have the little drink as it narrows, and especially, you know, going over these the railway tracks as well. Everything just adds to it. That actually plays into the hands of Chloe Diger. You know, these sprint lead-out trains really need to start making their move. You know, the time gap's hovering at 10 seconds, but, you know, Diger really holding it well.
He is, as a trackie, you can hold these sort of gaps as well. 1.1 miles, so we're getting in towards the finish. She's looking for the flamme rouge. She keeps looking back. Just a couple of kilometers to go. It looked like it was all over and they were going to pull her back, and I think she thought it as well, but she kept pressing on with her effort on those descents that played into her hand. She just upped the pace again. Chloe Diger for Show Air 2020. This is the team, the gap now, and I think she's got this in the bag now. They're not going to catch Chloe Diger. She's looking for a hat trick of victories. We said at the beginning of this one, could she whitewash this race and take every single stage?
Well, she's well on her way to be able to do that. The gap is certainly opening up to the chasers. We have 2 riders have broken away from the peloton now, but is it too late to be able to catch Chloe Diger? There's just no consistent chase in trying to catch this lone leader.
An absolutely phenomenal ride here from the Show Air 2020. It's time to believe. Chloe Diger is heading in towards the finish, but those last-ditch efforts out of the peloton, can anyone take a flyer and try and close this one down? She's into the final quarters, the twists and turns in towards the line. We've seen this already twice in this race. Here she comes. She's going to see the banner ahead of her very, very soon. And it's the Canyon SRAM jerseys that are on the front. What a ride. Here she comes up towards the finish for her third victory in 3 days. Chloe Dygert, what a rider. Takes yet another victory. Puts her hand up. That's all she's got. The sprint behind. They cross the line. It looks like Showair 2020 take first and second. It looked like Valenti from the long shot that took second. What a race.
What an incredible effort by Dygert to be able to hold on. I think she held on then by about 5 seconds. So impressive. When we thought that she'd had nothing left, she got a second win. The peloton thought they were going to catch her. They kind of lulled a little bit, and Dygert was able to pull out even more seconds to a chasing peloton, as we can say. Incredible that Valenti, backed it up as well to take second as well. So a very impressive day for Showair 2020. But
and again,
Chloe Dygert.
Yeah, no organisation from that group behind to pull her back.
Although there was a chase, but there was no one team that was really sort of committed to wanting to bring him back. They just have one rider on the front, and there was no real lead out or sprint trains chasing her. But like we said before, teams should have expected Chloe to be doing this. They know how strong she is. Just see the effort.
That was a big effort. There you have it. So Chloe Dygert takes the stage from Jennifer Valenti. Third place for Rebecca Wysack as well after being in that breakaway. If you can't take the stage when Chloe Dygert went, great recovery from Wysack from Fearless Femme.
Yeah, incredible. I actually thought, Wysack would have been the protected rider to go for the sprint for Fearless Femme. But, she was out there for 2 laps, had a fantastic effort. But obviously she recovered very well, and that's what, it takes as a rider when you're in good form. You can recover quickly and take on some liquids, take on a gel. Had a great result there. Didn't pay off for Canyon SRAM as they were chasing in that final with Tiffany Cromwell riding for Tanya Erath. Erath just got swamped a little bit in that finish. She was going for the second place. I think she came around 5th or 6th. So despite the chase, wasn't to be.
Just trying to recover there after that effort just shows how much it takes out of you just trying to do that. What, again, 3 days, 3 victories. And if you want to know, tomorrow it's the 84.7 kilometer stage in Denver, the final stage of Colorado Classic. Hannah and myself will also be here tomorrow, the Ladies Tour of Norway. We're on live tomorrow afternoon. We'll be bringing you the final stage of that one as well. Thanks for all your great comments. Thanks for all your interaction as well. We had a great evening. It looks like you've all had a lot of fun over on the chat forums as well, both on Facebook and on our GCN Racing channel as well, over on Facebook and on YouTube. So again, if you're on the YouTube channel and you haven't yet subscribed to GCN Racing, please do. We have loads more to come on the channel. As I said, we'll have daily highlights of the Vuelta. So our short highlights, which I know everyone enjoyed during the Tour de France as well. We've got some more live action next week. We have the Grand Prix Bretagne GP Plouay, both the men's and women's races. Women's race is on Saturday, men's race is on Sunday. So more live World Tour racing coming next week. And then, of course, we start to get into that point of the year when you'll be able to join Jeremy Powers and myself this winter for the cyclocross. That will be live again simultaneously on both YouTube and Facebook as well. Chloe Dygert riding down. What a rider. Absolutely phenomenal race today here in Golden to take that one.
She certainly pushed herself to the limits there. She took her a while to recover on the floor as she just took in some liquid, some water. She's making her way to the podium, very happy. Nicola Kramer there, the team manager, will absolutely be thrilled.
And let's have a little replay. Riding up the always present the jerseys. This is the protocol. This is cycling where you always have the jerseys presented on the front of the stage. Normally the yellow jersey, the green jersey, the points jersey, the Queen of the Mountains, all across the front. What a stage. It was just frantic from the off, wasn't it? That went really quick as well. We've been here a while, haven't we?
It was just non-stop. I mean, it was just an attack after attack after attack. And, not one team dominated it, but I must say, Fearless Femme, as a team, as a whole, they really did get the badass award for me today, because they worked so hard to try and force breakaways, and especially Rachel Langton, an incredible effort from the Brit.
This was the bonus cash lap sprint, and that was the. I didn't quite get a confirmation of how much it was. Yesterday it was $10,000. And I think Tanya Erath took that one. There you go. That's a good payday, isn't it? So we've been getting everyone. They've been trying to beat the records here in the Colorado Classic for the biggest preems. If you're new to cycling, preems are prizes that they put on the line in races for riders to sprint for. It came from Criterium Racing. Rachel Langdon, you can see, was one of the most animated riders throughout a lot of the early part of the stage. And as we said, I must say, big fan of this team, and the way they've ride again. Hagens, Berman, Supermint, they've had a great race as well.
And the way they were able to back it up as well with Rebecca Wysack, they took a third place on today's stage show. It's such a great result in a UCI race for this team.
This was the Queen of the Mountains, and this is where it went. Brodie Chapman, you can see on the right of your picture in that orange jersey. Chloe Dygert goes for the sprint. But over the top, she just had a little glance back and went, do you know what? I'm having this. And there she went, the winning ride. So going through that one, look at this point. This was the point where it looked like it was starting to come back. She was really having to dig deep. The glances back over the shoulder. She thought they were coming back.
I think the peloton thought they were coming back. She was coming back as well. Absolutely incredible effort. And I think this is where, she got that second win. She got that sense of, actually, I think, I'm closing down the finish. I've got 3K to go. The gap's staying it and sustaining it at the same time. But there's just no commitment from the peloton.
No, it's what we were saying as well in terms of breakaways trying to trick the peloton, and that's exactly what she did. They thought she was coming back. She thought they were coming back. They didn't, and the little victory salute as well just shows that how deep she had to dig in that one. But what a result for the team. First and second.
Yeah.
I didn't do too bad on my predictions. I got second, didn't I?
Yeah, brilliant. I think Chloe's almost in a league of her own, so we'll say Jennifer won. She's a phenomenal athlete. There you
have it. There's your top three on the left of your picture there. Chloe Dygert, Jennifer Valente, Rebecca Wysack. And what a day. And a beautiful scenery around here in Golden. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a great stage, wasn't it? And I think again, there's a lot of love for Chloe Dygert going on the various chat forums, and what an exceptional rider. And again, we just look at that 3 days, 3 victories. That is just something special.
It's completely dominant, and actually, we thought it might actually not go her way today, because there were so many attacks from the likes of Fearless Femme, and we had the breakaway with Rebecca Wysack and Valsecchi, and actually we thought if they go into the final lap with at least a minute, we thought that's where the race winner would come from. They quickly got brought back, and it was just Dygert who took her opportunity. It was just so exciting. It was just, I don't think there was a time I think there was a small moment after that crash where the peloton sat up and had a drink and got some fuel, and it was all go. I think women's racing at its best.
It was indeed. So what a day we have had. Again, remember, you can go back and watch all of these races again. Make sure you watch the Ladies Tour of Norway from earlier on, all the Colorado Classic, all of these videos, all of these live races you can go back and watch on demand. Make sure you join us. We are back 2 races again tomorrow from Hannah Walker and myself, Martin McDonald. We'll see you. Bye for now.